Hello, friends, and welcome back to 20XX on the IPL stream. I am Popgun, joined by Falco. How you doing today, Falco?
It's been a day. I am here. We are live. I am at my in-laws' house in their basement because my internet went out at home. But we are prepared. We are ready. I got my portable green screen set up too. That way, all the unfinished. It's an unfinished basement that I'm sitting in, but you guys can't tell that. So, hey, it's going to be a really fun stream here for day 2. We had a lot of fun action on day 1, but we are ready for the alpha bracket portion of this tournament, Popgun.
The links you will go through to commentate some of the top Splatoon action that we have here in the scene. Yes, there are 2 streams going on today of the top 16 alpha bracket of 20XX. We're going to be bringing you guys we're actually jumping all over the bracket here, but at the end of this stream, we'll be rating the Dapple Production stream to watch the grand finals together as one big happy family. We, here on the IPL stream, are going to be bringing you guys Moonlight, taking on 2024. Moonlight, a team that needs no introduction, but we'll give them one anyways. A team that is, quote-unquote, off-meta-ish with the things that they do slightly. If we see Clan Blitz show up, we'll have an opportunity to talk about the current state of Clan Blitz, thanks to this team. And 2024 is made up of Sindal, and that is it.
You know, it's kind of crazy comparing some of these teams and what they did to get to this point. Moonlight, I mean, they played their 3 sets, won their 3 sets. You win, you're in alpha bracket. Congratulations. 2024, they had a little bit of a more difficult journey where they lost in parts of their group stage. You know, getting key wins, though, over Holy Ground and Foams. Prestige, they went down 0-3 to them, which knocked them to the elimination side. But during Redemption Bracket, getting a 3-0 win over Narwhal Gaming and a 3-1 win over Whale Gang. So lots of good matches that were happening yesterday, but of course, like we mentioned, facing a very, very tough Moonlight team, Popgun.
And this is going to be a best of 5 set. I believe it's best of 5 the entire way, including losers side of things. And this is also counter pick as well, correct?
Yeah, all counter picks. Exactly. All counter picks for map and mode are predetermined, but you know, something you don't typically see sometimes in the earlier rounds of a tournament, you will sometimes have a best of 3, best of 5, have all your maps, but no, we're having counter picks all the way through this tournament. And I know when we had the pleasure of commentating Proving Grounds on Friday, and this is the same map pool that we had there. Actually, well, Proving Grounds used this map pool. We can't say that 20XX copied Proving Grounds. We copied them. But yeah, we will be starting off with Splat Zone's Ship Shape Cargo for our first game.
I was just thinking, is Ship Shape Clan Blitz going to show up here? Because if it is, Moonlight would be more than happy to play it. Instead, I believe it's just Tower Control and Splat Zones that map is showing up here. The rest of the roster for 2024, I believe that was Atomic, Dingo, and Reyes that we showed up there on that team there. So I just pointed out Sindal because that is one of the most, if not the most noticeable person in the entire competitive Splatoon community. But we're not going to focus just on that. We're going to be taking a look at the other players that make up this 2024 team. I'm assuming representing Europe. Of course, Moonlight representing North America with the players that they got coming out here, and I believe we're going to be bringing you game 1 very shortly. Also, I've been lied to, which is, I guess, something I should be coming to expect, but it is not best of 5 in losers bracket. The first 2 rounds of losers are best of 3. So just when we start streaming losers is when it becomes best of 5. So there we go.
Okay.
Clarifying that.
Well, then we didn't lie on stream. We were right. The matches that you were going to see here are all best of 5, so that's fine.
Correct.
We
as far
didn't
as
lie.
you guys know. Yeah, the idiots in chat won't know any better.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Yesterday, Moonlight had incredible games, getting a 3-0 win over Ravid and a 3-2 win over Duck Motif. Duck Motif, a very strong team as well. A team that I honestly don't even... They're probably maybe in the alpha bracket. I don't even know where they're going to be today. I didn't take that close of a look at the roster. I was focusing on the matches that we're going to be bringing you guys. But I think when you have, not as many games that you play to get to the spot that you're in. It can kind of be a different bit of a game for you, but obviously having a day 1 and a day 2 where you have relatively like 20 hours in between, I don't think that's really going to make a difference at all. So yeah, but yeah, so we do have Moonlight has been, it looks like, disqualified for their first game. Yeah,
they forgot to check in, I believe.
Okay, well, there we go. So we, who is Moonlight? Who are they?
They got Dairy Queened. Went to the check-in button. Let's go.
Well,
you know what? We don't use start.gg that often, right? We see it for Super Jump. We see it for this. You see it a lot for lands, because the players don't have to worry about it during land. So we'll give Moonlight a pass here, and I believe they're getting a homie stock from the TOs. They're going to reset it, so they're not actually disqualified, as far as is what I'm getting here.
Yeah, I think because there are things that I never use start.gg. I know you don't really like using it as well either. I don't know from a TO's perspective if it's easier, but yeah, I believe they were on a timer.
Oh yeah, from a TO perspective, there's so many nice. I mean, this isn't the point of the stream, but just the side note here. From the TOing side of things, yeah, start.gg is amazing. But when you fail to check in, it makes kind of hilarious things.
Yeah.
But yes, they are actually playing. I believe that is the case.
Yeah, I believe it was on a timer, and if you didn't check in, but I think because we're at this stage, obviously, like 2024, I don't think some teams want to win by forfeit, but a lot of these teams, especially at top levels, I've noticed we've had gentleman replays, I'll say, like, well after the time is allowed of maybe your traditional DC tournament rules of 230 or 50 points remaining. Like, these players want to play. I don't think any of them want to get further on in the tournament based on any disqualification anyways.
Hey, the plus server voting's going on right now. Sinnow needs results. If Sinnow wants to stay in +1 and get a win against Moonlight here, it would do a lot towards that.
As long as you just say we 3-0'd them, you don't need to say anything else. Nobody needs. There's no proof here at all.
2-3, but it was a close 2-3.
It was a close 2-3, exactly. Yeah, nobody saved the replays or anything. It's just it's all in the void. It's all gone. But yeah, like you said, they are going to be trying to get back into that game, and we'll be trying to get back into that room as well. But yeah, this should be a lot of fun. We saw members of Moonlight. I know Saf and I were able to commentate them on Idle last week, and just so much fun. Basil barely even brought out the E-Leader. I know that he hasn't been playing that as much for certain maps and modes too, but I'm curious to see, I guess, let's Splat Zone's ship shape, if that will come out, and then just kind of the rest of the weapons on the side of Moonlight too.
Well, they ended up getting 3rd place in that tournament, and the narrative as well. The restrictions in that tournament didn't really hinder Moonlight at all, because they basically do what they normally do anyways. Problem with E-Leader is Pencil's just that good, and when you got somebody who's as good as his charger weapon as Basil is, obviously that's an easy adjustment to make. You'll probably see some ball points at some point as well coming out from Basil. The real question is, how is Kraken going to affect things? Because I've said this many times. I know you've listened to this. I feel like if Kraken was on weapons other than 96, we'd be complaining about how broken it is. And people are just now starting to complain about how broken it is, mainly because Nolan's using it almost exclusively, because Nolan's really good at 96 anyways, regardless of what the kit is. So you're going to see a lot more complaining the better Moonlight does in this tournament, mainly just because Nolan's just that good, and other people are starting to pick up and realize, maybe 96 isn't that bad. Maybe I can figure it out if the benefit is in a special that is invincible and lets you do pretty much anything, especially on Flame Blades.
Well, yeah, and two, I think when we watch some of these top level players play weapons, and it's easy to just say, "Oh, that weapon's broken. It's really good," and then it's like, okay, you try picking it up. You try thriving with 96. You try thriving with Pencil, and a lot of these players can, obviously, like Chargers and Pencils. They're they go hand in hand with each other too. But yeah, it's more of, we shouldn't set those expectations on the players of if a weapon is broken or not, or a special is broken or not too. Like, they're going to be good at any weapon they play regardless, if they were playing, like ShadowWin, for instance, the undercover or the Tent Umbrella. That's not one we talk about being broken at all, but we know that he's very good at it too. So I think too, if more people were playing it, it would kind of follow that same narrative. But yeah, it is interesting. But I think too, again, I'm looking forward to seeing if seeing if they can bring it out. And I don't know if we're going to see Nolan play Kraken here, but I wouldn't be surprised if we do.
Well, you talked about Tin Umbrella from Shadowwind. Another player who's been using it for a good chunk of time as well was Sindao. Especially the camo one back in Splatoon 2. Now, Tit was a weapon that hasn't really been used much in the early goings just because A, it's been nerfed about 50 times in a row across both games, and B, it just seems like the latency with Brellas in general has been really jank at the beginning of this game. But you've seen Brellas come back, not just at LANs, but now online tournaments as well. You've seen some Brellas return, so maybe we'll see some Tintabrella action at some point, who knows. But regardless, I believe we just got into the room. Everybody's checked in. Nobody's getting Dairy Queened by the tournament site, and we are going to be hopping into this game one very soon.
You know, Popgun, I did go to Dairy Queen about a month ago, and one of my favorite things to ever get there is the cherry dip cone. I will always get a cherry dip cone whenever I go to Dairy Queen.
What do you mean cherry dip?
Like, it's a cherry, like, you get the soft serve, and then you dip it in, like, a cherry sauce, and then it hardens on the ice cream.
So they have the chocolate one. I wasn't aware they had the cherry one.
They have the cherry, and it's delicious. It's delicious, but...
all right. I didn't know that was a thing, honestly.
Yeah, but the last time I went, they didn't have it. That was what I was getting at, so I was very disappointed. So I hope they don't get Dairy Queen, because I didn't get Dairy Queened a week ago, or a month ago.
So the cherry sauce got DQ'd from Dairy Queen. Got Dairy Queen from Dairy Queen. There we go. And that's a sign that we've officially run out of things to talk about here. And I believe players are readying up. And again, best of 5 counter picks going forward, top 16. Who knows? Maybe one of these teams will end up pulling off a major upset down the line. By the way, Moonlight got into this position because they beat Duck Motif. If Moonlight wins this one, they might have a rematch with Duck Motif in the very next round. But 2024, looking to have something to say about that.
Yeah, and I think
coming seconds.
I think too, whenever, you know, that was a 3-2 win, so obviously it wasn't a clean sweep for Moonlight, and I'm sure Duck Motif, they want a little bit of revenge. Obviously they're going to want to win whoever they're facing, but I think if you know that you're facing an opponent who you barely lost to in the next round, that's going to benefit you. But we are hopping into our first game here on 20XX Day 2 on the IPL stream, 2024 versus Moonlight.
I was thinking, wait, it's not the year 2024, is it? No, it's not. And here we go. Vanilla Roller coming out. That is a weapon we've seen more of in general as of late, especially out of Moonlight. Squeezer, Splash. So we got a crab, a very rare crab, believe it or not, coming out from Reyes on the side of 2024.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Oh, well, they're going to go down rather quickly, so we're not going to see a crab anytime soon. But it looks like Moonlight able to try and push forward. They do have a lot of specials online, have bazookas out, have some Tacticooler as well, and they are going to be taking this zone. And there's Nolan's Kraken that is going to be pushing really far forward above this zone, is going to try and get some of these members on a flank. But unfortunately for him, he is caught by 3 members on 2024, so really nothing out of that push. However, Moonlight still able to hold on to the zone with 2024 using some of these specials to push back in.
The more we see Kraken being used, eventually we're going to get better at dealing with it. Initially, when something comes out, we're like, oh, this is broken, we don't know how to deal with it. Well, you saw 2024 saying, let's not fight this thing because we can't win it as we get the DC. But you saw them kind of disperse and collapse on top of Nolan once the special ended there. And there we go. There you go.
Well,
are we sure everybody checked in? Was that? We got about that.
We got a little bit of a preview there, but you know, better now than I guess a game 5. But obviously, we don't want it at all. But
and I had such a great point too. I was breaking down how 2024 dealt with that Kraken and how you're probably going to see them deal with the Kraken going forward in this set. And then as soon as we do that, the Splatoon 3 shenanigans rear their head, and well, hopefully that player could get back in and we can just keep going as normal.
Yeah, we will see. But yeah, that was one of the members of 2024. I didn't see exactly which player that
Oh yeah.
disconnected, but it really doesn't matter, I don't think. But yeah, Moonlight, they had a little bit of a opening push here that they could work with. Obviously we saw that was going to be that was going to be
Goodbye.
Raze who went down. Yeah, goodbye by the roller. That was going to be Omega who was just waiting and just like, you know what? I know where they are. I'm just going to go for the easy kill right now and see what we can do after that. But yeah, these players are now getting back into the lobby, so let's take 2 of game 1 here of our first match here of 20XX on IPL.
Okay, you can't change weapons, but you can change your opening. Reyes now knows, okay, maybe Omega is going to be right there, ledge camping on the right side. If I go there, you can still go there, but you just got to be more mindful that there's probably going to be a roller ready to bash you in the head. Omega's going straight there, and instead of it's Atomic that's going to be going to that side. So there is some strategy you can use in these replays.
Yeah, especially if you were the team who maybe went down first, knowing which ledge you're not going to go to get hit. But yeah, there are things to take away even with having only playing for about a minute, especially when you have the same exact weapons online. And 2024 really seem to be benefiting from that right now because they are no sign of losing the lead right now. And they do have 2 players down, so it looks like Moonlight will have an opportunity to push forward. Omega is going to be trying to flank here with the curling bomb as they're trying to push forward, but here comes Azuka and the Kraken from Nolan. Nolan is trying to sniff out Atomic. Oh, and Atomic able to jump out just in time. So Moonlight doing a very good job maintaining map control and pushing forward. And we can see Omega's already pushed up. Look how far they are pushed up, Hopgun.
They're way too far pushed up. They used the bubble right there so they could try to get something, but nobody really went with Omega up top there, so they instantly just shred the bubbler. But nice play by Omega, who's probably using a lot of quick super jump. Magic Eye noticed that back in Idle. Allowing them to escape those kind of tricky situations if they overextend so they can stay alive for their teammates. And right now, things are looking really good for Moonlight. 2024 trying to break out of their spawn going along the right side, but losing a lot of players in the process.
Yeah, they are, but I don't know how they're going to... Yeah, they're not going to really have any opportunity to break back in. And you know that Moonlight was very comfortable because Basil was in the zone. Like, they weren't perched up on a wall, on a ledge or anything. They were just like, nope, I'm going to stand in this zone and try and splat people because I need to just touch up on it in case, Dire needs call for that. But yeah, a very comfortable win there for Moonlight as they take game 1. 2024... they learned from their mistakes in the opening push and were able to push forward, but once Moonlight were able to take the zone, there was no stopping them.
Yeah, and this is the kind of calling card I guess Moonlight is known for. Even though doing a little bit of silly things like the roller and the I don't know. Actually, that comp's not really that silly if you think about it. Like the roller's a little bit unique, but the play style that Nolan or Omega uses with it is extreme aggression, and also at the same time kind of not, because they have that quick super jump to get out of tricky situations. But it's 2024 having to react to what Moonlight is doing instead of kind of leading the tango themselves. And it's hard to do that when you're constantly just running for your lives, which it seems like they were doing in that game. Poor Reyes right there, forced in a situation. Basically, I got to try to take this fight no matter what, even though it's not really going to work out in my favor. But yeah, that's something 2024 is going to have to deal with. How do we deal with the aggression, and how do we find a way to where we get in control of things and make them react to what we're trying to do?
Yeah, man, and I think in that map and mode in particular, once you're locked out far enough, and I mean that's going to be true for any map and mode, but it is difficult to break back in because you know that the offensive team, they are pushing and locking out the left side, where really that's the only place that you can drop and have some room. But 2024, like you said, once they were able to drop down, they were just kind of scrambling a little bit, not really having any footing just because they had no map control at all, and it was all hands on deck for Moonlight to just try and identify the first member of 2024 who dropped down. And again, that's why they couldn't get anywhere close to the zone.
And now the counter pick has come in from 2024. We are going to Mahi Mahi Resort. A revamped Mahi Mahi Resort, mind you. It's very flat, very wide open. And if you wanted to use E-Leader in the past, this is a really good map and mode to do it. I don't think you're going to see it just because Pencil is just that good. We did see Firefin, though, in the last game coming out for 2024. So maybe that is the reasoning behind why they wanted to pick this map. They wanted to further benefit their Charger player that has a longer ranged weapon. I believe Charger, like regular Chargers, got more range than Pencil, right?
Yeah, it should. Yeah, you're right. I believe so.
Well, Scope does.
Yeah, Scope definitely does. But even that, I believe Pencil's just a little bit shy of the range. But yeah, moving on to game 2 here, Splat Zones Mahi. Let's see if we're going to see any comp changes. We're going to see the Pencil still come back out. Or come back out. And we're going to see the Firefin come back out too. So really not changing the comp on the side of 2024, but it looks like, yeah, Moonlight opting to change for just a little bit.
And Shadow going back to that patented tint that they were so good with in Splatoon 2, which you might think is, wow, that's a really interesting pick, but then you realize, oh wait, there's Ink Zuko in that thing as well, so kind of works out into their favor. But yeah, the Firefin not doing a good job of staying alive. That is going to be the key. If 2024 can keep their Charger players safe, they should be fine, but it seems like they're struggling to do that. And wow, so now going up into an awkward kind of situation right there, getting punished.
Yeah, and Omega's not going to be shy about trying to push up. Well, actually, they are going to be a little bit shy, yeah, with that pushing out. But I believe they were cooler there on that jump. And now 2024 trying to push in with this Zuka, but really not going to cap. And once again, you're going to have Nolan come out with the Kraken and the Chargers, the Firefin on the side of 2024, trying to do everything they can just to get some of these the triple ink strikes out, and it looks like they do, but really it's Moonlight doing exactly what they did in this first game, which is take the zone and push up. And right now Nolan's going to be trying to touch up on that zone. A few members from 2024 were able to drop down, but look at this, they're having a hard time finding the best way to break through.
Yeah, and they're Moonlight doing a great job of harassing the Charger player, but taking care of Nolan in conjunction with all the special usages allows 2024 to get back control of them. Can I just say, I wish this map just started off this size. I wish you didn't have to wait until somebody to score, like, 40 points for it to go back down to this size that's been staying the whole time. Reyes was on an island, staying alive, minding their own business. Then the water changed, and all of a sudden Reyes is stuck in an awkward fight against the Kraken that they automatically lose. That's just a personal gripe. But now that it is changed, look how wide open and massive this map is compared to what it used to be.
Yeah, there's a lot of real estate here, especially, you know, it was lockout heavy before. Not that we really saw this map and mode in comp very much, but I think too with just having the space, and I mean, yeah, with the floor dropping halfway down, it does maybe give the team who's losing a little bit of a I guess like a boost, but it's really not that much. But I agree, I would rather have it be open as well. But 2024, look at this, they are able to hold on to the zone for a little bit of time, but Moonlight still just has a ton of map control. We're going to see Shadow trying to use the Zuka to get some strikes, but no, we're going to see Strikes and Zuka come out on the side of 2024. They do have a 1-2 player disadvantage, so Moonlight's going to capitalize on that and take the zone, and it is just going to be the Squeezer player who's alive who's going to need to jump out. So Moonlight right now in a very good position to dwindle down some of their penalty points and push past the 26 mark.
And they're in a good situation here to keep 2024 out of maximizing the massive space that is available in mid. A lot of yellow paint right down in mid, and there's look at Reyes. There's just nowhere to go because Nolan is completely camping it down. Now, the longer the stalemate goes out, the more time that it allows for these specials to come out. Nice conjunction with the Ink Zuka and the Ink Strikes at the same time on the zone. That flips it back in the 2024's favor. The problem is you have to get your players set up if you want to find a way to create a lockout situation. They got their Charger player up in that little Crow's Nest era. It looks like Reyes was able to escape that pin down from Nolan, and now they're guarding the right side. You got your Squeezer here on the left. Able to get a very nice splat on the Pencil, so there's not going to be any soda coming out here. And Shadow's going to try to draw as much attention on the right. So expect some other players from Moonlight to come in from the left, and just as I say that, Shadow's instantly eliminated, and look at 2024's response to all of this going on right there. Yes, you got the Kraken coming out from Nolan, but Nolan's way off by themselves. They're not going to accomplish anything there. 2024 responding really well now.
Yeah, you know, I think it was unfortunate that when FTWin dropped in their umbrella and they got splatted so quickly. And like you said, with the Kraken coming out from Moonlight, there's really no opportunity for you to survive. You're not really going to paint that well with the Kraken. And you know, if you get too close to the enemies, the other members are just going to wait for your Kraken to run out and splat you. So just kind of those like solo pushes one by one really didn't favor Moonlight well. And that's what's going to give 2024 the second game win.
You know, I was talking about the map, how it changes halfway through. I feel like once it changed, it heavily favored 2024, and I think that kind of showed. Once the map changed, you kind of had this distinct spawning, I guess, to some extent of 2024. So they're having a little bit of time of getting their players back up and getting into position. But once they slowed down everything, and it started to capture the space they needed, they could just slowly work their way first into getting the lead and then getting the KO pretty comfortably there. There's just so much space for them to work with. And when Shadow drops down, there's so many bombs. I'm assuming, I didn't see the build, but usually you see that double splat bomb come out of a junior. So if a FTWin drops down, opens up the tent, there's a whole lot of mess that's being thrown right at that player's direction.
Yeah, I think it was at that moment that we just saw on the replay too, where we had the rest of the members of Moonlight trying to help support FTWin. Like Shadow brought out the tent to help protect them, but they got splatted just a hair too early. So yeah, I think that's kind of where it fell apart a little bit before that point, but I think after that push, you knew it was going to be very difficult for Moonlight to come back in. But yeah, a little bit more staggered on that. And now Moonlight is going to be they're going to be having their first counter pick of the set.
What mode are they going with? Just take a guess.
I'll let you vote in chat, guys. And if you said Clam Blitz, you're right. We're going on Clam Blitz Scorch Gorge. So Popgun, you alluded to this earlier. When they can cook on Clam Blitz, they can cook.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's not like what they're doing is mind-boggling or unique or anything like that. It's just they do it really well. It's, oh, let's use our Kraken and jump to the Kraken and pop the basket with the clams that we got right there, which is hilarious that it's taken us 8 months, I believe, since Kraken's been out for us to realize, hey, wait a minute. What if we just do this strategy we did with Baller back in Splatoon 2? Now, the strategy went away with Baller in Splatoon 2 because Baller kept getting nerfed, and then we just found out, oh, we can just throw bombs at the Ballers. People are jumping in, and we can, like, shred the Baller. Like, there was ways to counter. Kraken, you can't do anything about it until it's just done. So that brings that strategy back into action. Now, the thing with that strategy is it's hard to get sustainable pushes off of it. It's good to pop the basket. If you got 3-2 clams, it's good to get a quick score. But a long, drawn-out, extended push, it's not the most ideal way to get things done. Although, I guess I could be proven wrong with how this game goes here.
Let's see if you are right about that. And I mean, yeah, with the Kraken, there is a little bit of knockback that you can do. And you're right. We talked about this on Friday a little bit on Proving Grounds, where, you know, kind of a low level was the one who was doing it first, and then then the higher level is like, oh yeah, I guess we could do that and really thrive with it. But we will see how many Kraken jumps we're going to get. It looks like one's not really going to come anytime soon, as 2 members are going to go down on the side of Moonlight. They do still have a decent map control, as Raze is going to wait for members to drop, but Atomic is quick to form a power claim, but is going to be opting to throw it back to one of their teammates to keep it alive. And I think that's going to allow Moonlight to really help push forward a little bit. We see the Kraken and Bubble come out online. You know, I don't know if this is really going to be a push, but Omega is already trying to strike up pretty early, already at the enemy basket, and trying to go for some of these flanks. So we will see if anything is going to come out of that. But right now, not a lot of clams online for either team.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Even if you have a Kraken ready to go, you need a lot of clams soaked up for that strategy to be effective. That's not the easiest thing in the world to do. Where are we? Are we on Moonlight's side of the map here, or is there Atomic just finally cleaning out somebody on their own base? I'm completely lost. That was a weird spot to have that 1v1 fight right now. I think Atomic is on their own. Okay, yeah, Atomic was trying to score right there, but just nobody was available to jump. What a weird spot to be in.
Yeah, I mean, if it works for Moonlight, it works for them to score, but I you know, they're going to be following up with it just a little bit. 2 members are going to go down on their side. Sendo's going to be getting 2, going to get Nolan and Omega. So, again, getting to that 62 mark, you know, not really a position you were hoping to be in. Obviously, it's still a score. It's better than nothing. But FTWin is doing a good job just trying to clean up areas by the base, keeping it painted, hiding on this wall, making sure nobody can drop down. And, oh, can Omega go up and get the crab? Yes, they can, staying alive. So still a lot of map control on the side of Moonlight as they are getting some more clams in. They do have a power clam with the pencil that they're going to try and work with. But yeah, they're doing a good job keeping this a little bit slow and steady.
When you're 2024 and you're in that situation where you just close your basket and you got a 4v1 man advantage, and there it is right there. Okay. We'll come back to that point, but the thing just happened. 2 power clams jump in, pop the basket, and 2024 is just all over the place. There's nobody really, they have to come back to defend it, because I think they're just trying to base race at this point. They're just trying to find ways to slide through, but there you go. So they pop the basket and get a lot more clams on top of it. Okay, so if you're 20, how do you deal with this? When you have the man advantage, which they did the first time that they popped the basket, you got to push up, you got to start taking space, and you got to be aggressive with it. The problem is Omega's play style and ability to jump in and out of action allows them to do the same exact thing. And there is a nice job of Atomic making sure they hold serve on that spot right there, getting the splat. But it's still, you can't just sit back and wait to push in, because you know Omega's just coming right for you from some direction.
Yeah, that is going to be really hard for them to really push forward with Omega. I mean, 2024 now, can they get this push? Yes, they can. Sendo using the bubble, staying alive. There's going to get 2 power clams in. Right now, they don't really have any clams on the line. They were able to throw a few, but a lot of the members are still pushing. Oh, and Raze missed the power clam to pick up. You know, it would have been tricky to see if they would have made that jump in time if it was by the basket. Do you have any follow-up on that? Because it looked like
I think they purposely missed it because they realized, we're not going to get there in time anyways, and if I grab it, we're just going to have another plan we got to hold on to. So I think that was a benefit of the doubt, a tactical miss, so that they can keep that power clam for a later play.
Yeah, I mean, that's tricky, because if you accidentally pick up that pity clam, you're like, uh-oh, what am I going to do with this now when you're not ready to push? So they were able to stay alive from that, but man, that was really crazy as far as, like, you know, those split-second decisions that you need to make. But right now, with about 40 seconds left, 2024 still on the uphill battle. They do have a power clam on the line, have a 1-player disadvantage. Going to be using some of these specials to try and push forward as well. But Moonlight using this crab, it's going to be FTWin trying to push forward to see if they can help displace some of these members in 2024. And they're really just playing the patient game that they need to do in order to help them secure this win, as we see members of 2024 dropping down. But we'll see if they have anything up their sleeve in the next 10 seconds.
Oh, if I'm 2024, I like this position. I like that we have Basil pushed all the way back here. You're probably not getting... Oh, but there we go. Who got there first? It was Moonlight. So that's why Basil was all the way back there. So maybe I don't like that so much after all, because, well, they just crack into the side, pop the basket, GG, game over.
GG, game over. Hey, they kept us on our toes there for that game, but you know, let's talk about what we mentioned when we saw the Kraken push forward and you say, okay, Kraken is there, get the easy jump, get the score. I think on this stage in particular, like you said, there's kind of 2 elements to it. When you're on the defending team and you drop down, you have to either jump back or take a long way back to get to your basket. However, if you do drop down, it's going to take a while. But there's this area right here where Nolan was just kind of sharking.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's a lot of players over there, so it's not like Nolan uses the Kraken, gets the jump, and then leaves. He can continue to do things in Kraken form and even outside of Kraken form when it ends.
By the way, during this push, where was everyone for 2024? Nobody was there to defend the basket because they had to try to base race. Like, they had to try to rush to pop the basket first. And then they were kind of stuck. Oh, okay, now we got to go all the way back, or can we clean that up and we can stay here and score on top of that? The counter to what Moonlight is doing, and it's not like it's an easy counter, but like the best that you can do is just try to outscore them, out-aggression them to an extent. That, like, make sure their basket is constantly popped so they can't find ways to score. And the problem is, well, it's almost impossible to do against the Kraken. So that's tough.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting here saying it's broken, it's cheese. It's obviously a strategy that works now. It might not be a strategy that works 3 weeks from now. Quite honestly, there could be something different, who knows, but that's tough to beat. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, that is really hard to beat. And like we called this there was a reason that was Moonlight's counter pick to begin with. We knew that they were going to just again not have anything that I don't think 2024 didn't expect. Like if you're 2024, you know Nolan's going to be using Kraken. So you just kind of have to be aware of what's going to happen in those situations. But I think Nolan and Moonlight did a very good job at timing when they were going to make those Kraken pushes. Wait for players to drop down. We know we can score, get the jump in. And if Nolan can't splat anybody afterwards, that's fine. You at least have him up there when people try and come back to the basket. So a very job well done there for Moonlight. But 2024 counter pick, they are going to be choosing ship shape tower control. So we are going back to ship shape here, different mode this time, and we will see what kind of weapons we will see on this game.
Doubling down the other map of ship shape that 2024 has not seen yet. They say, yeah, we got bodied in the Splat Zone game, arguably twice. Let's try the tower control version of this in a do or die game here for us. Very snowballish tower control map, which, you know, depending on what your thoughts on tower control at Splatoon 3 are, there's a lot of maps that kind of fall into that category. I get that. But still, this is a good opportunity to, if you get the right kind of steam going, you can clear multiple checkpoints in one single push and get a massive lead here. And now, what kind of comp change are we going to see? Sindao coming out with the range blaster.
Yep, ranged blaster. It's going to have suction bomb and wave breaker this time. So wave breaker is something you don't see very often come out from a lot of these teams, but they do have some of the paint to support it. I mean, you're sticking with the splash. You have the squeezer that can paint decently well enough, but Sendo's going to go down pretty early on here as Moonlight is quick to take this tower and push up. And once again, they're doing exactly what they were doing before. It's going to be Nolan trying to really push up, moving Atomic back here as they try to defend themselves by placing this wall. And yeah, Moonlight is quick to get to this first checkpoint, seemingly uncontested right now. Yeah, with the wall and the sprinkler in front as well to keep some paint there too. They're going to breeze right through this one, Pop Gun.
Yeah, Sindao's trying to make a solo play here on the right side and ultimately get shut down. Now they have quick respawn, so that's why they're trying to make the aggressive play. They know they're going to be right back, but the problem is there's just no paint for that blaster to work with on that right side. There's so much paint output from Moonlight versus 2024, and right now the snowball is rolling way too far down the hill. All of the checkpoints are gone. Atomic's just backing up, trying to stay alive here to make sure the game even goes on at all. Sindao's raining down blasts across the tower, but it's a 2v4 situation. I think that's all she wrote here. GG, go next.
Yeah, that was a very dominant win there for Moonlight. Look at that map. Look at that map. And like, for a pretty much seemingly like a one push KO too. You know, obviously Moonlight had to have times where they stepped off the tower, but typically when you see a map painted that well, it's a long game, but that map was very, very orange. Moonlight did a very good job just finding places to build up their special as well to quickly get it back. You know, sometimes it's like, well, we're out of room to go, so we could see members even just like backing up just to find areas to paint. But yeah, that was a wonderful win there for Moonlight, so they've got to feel really good going into this next round.
And where were you supposed to go if you were 2024 in this situation right here? You got the Kraken pushing on the left. You got everybody else attacking the right side, which was already painted yellow anyways, taking on a 1v3 on Sindao. Like, there was just nowhere to attack from, and you spent most of your time running away than getting yourself established to try to slow things down. That's what that map does. And it worked out way better into Moonlight's favor. And it all started with their opening, able to recognize, okay, we're using T-Tech. We got these ink strikes ready to go. They got a lot of players on the left side of mid. Let's just rain down a line of ink strikes along that left side, disperse them, collapse on top of them, get the man advantage, and then just never look back from there.
You know, I know, and Moonlight did a very good job making it hard for 2024 to break in, and obviously that's what they were going for. They said, okay, as soon as we see one player, put all of our attention on there, and when you go down, you know, how 2024 did, all of your pushes are going to be staggered. So again, there was really no opportunity for 2024 at that point. But I believe now we are going to be taking a little bit of a break before we move on to our next round, which will be Prestige versus FTWin. But you guys don't go anywhere. We will be back shortly.
Hello, friends, and welcome back once again to 20XX. We're going to be giving you guys a FTWin team that is not dead and gone. Apparently, they are a real thing, taking on Prestige. Before we get into that, I believe we got some ads that we want to cram down your guys' throats at this point. Hey, did you know that this event is something I've been pounding the table about for over a year now? Why are we not giving some of the money back to the organization? So donate to this prize. And this, so you know, 25% of it does go back to the organization. So if you want to see more events like this in the future, instead of a TO opening up their wallet and donating their own money to this, or whatever else Dapples or 20XX wants to do with this money, help grow the scene that way. Donate to this event, and also 75% does eventually go to Jackpot when they win this tournament.
And if when you're too busy donating, but you want to still attend some LANs, we have another one coming up for you guys that is going to be across the pond from us. It is going to be Breeze, happening November 25th and the 26th. So that is in about 2 weeks now. Sign up by scanning that QR code on stream. Popgun and I can vouch that LANs are fun, and we will not be there. But They are going to be a blast. We know there's a lot of players, a lot of teams who've already signed up, and it is not too late to attend. Again, make sure you scan that QR code for more information.
I will, before I depart from this world, I will attend a Breeze at some point. I believe they got over 300 people signed up. I don't know. I guess like scan the thing there. I think on Saturday they were ending registration, or it was like the ending a certain wave of registration or something like that. But still, support lands. We love these things, and this one promises to be a rowdy one as well. Last but certainly not least, Splatoon Stronghold. Splatoon Stronghold is getting started. A way to get started in the competitive Splatoon scene. You can join the Discord there, discord.gg/Spolstrong, or look them up on Twitter at Spolstrong. Just at Spolstrong there. What is that worldly symbol on the left there? Oh, is that the World Wide Web? Is that
yeah,
what
that's one of those internet things, Popgun. You know what a floppy disk is, right?
Okay,
You know that's a save button. Okay, yeah.
In my defense, I remember a world before the internet, and I remember a world when the internet was through the landline, and if somebody called your house, you just lost control of your internet until they hung up. So, in my defense, I am a little bit behind the times, but maybe that's still not a proper defense. Whatever. Prestige FTWin.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Yeah, well, first of all, here are the teams in our top 8 of the Alpha bracket. Prestige and FTWin. FTWin, pretty much a smooth ride to get here, defeating Black Lotus. And Prestige getting a 3-0 win over Zenith, too. So both are looking to move on. Of course, potentially facing Jackpot into the next round. Obviously, these teams want to take this one step at a time. If we do see an FTWin versus Jackpot rematch, I know we're like a matchup. I don't know about a rematch, but a matchup. We're definitely going to be wanting to pay attention to that one. But we are starting first on your favorite map mode, Combo Popgun, Tower Control Inkling Art Academy.
Okay, so they can't counterpick it if it's game one. The TOs decided to pick this one. FTWin taking on Prestige. Prestige has not dropped a single set. They beat Star Bust 3-2 yesterday to guarantee their spot here, and they're looking to continue their winning streak against top players from North America. Hypnos coming out with a pencil right off the bat, and that is the Neo machine, point sensor, but most importantly Zuka. That is still a double Zuka comp, by the way, from Prestige, just not from any shooter you would expect it to be from.
Yeah, really, it's two weapons that you don't expect to see very often. But you're right, it's hiding behind the Zuka's hiding behind those weapons. But look at this, two are going to go down on FTWin as they're going to have to back up, and a lot of map control that Prestige has pushed up on FTWin's side. Zares is going to be forced to back up just a little bit, but FTWin now starting to push this tower a little bit more and using the Zipcaster to help cause some chaos and really cause a distraction while the rest of the members are pushing, and that's going to get them to this first checkpoint, potentially past. No, the Knot is going to be backing up, so unfortunately for them, not going to get past it quite yet, but a lot of aggression early on Popgun.
Nicely done by Prestige to weather the storm there. They didn't even give up the first checkpoint. It looked like FTWin was in a great situation. You got Zares pushed up to the enemy plat, starting to use their special. But I guess Prestige is doing a good job of handling that one distraction and making sure nobody else would come to help them out. And now it's Prestige that's on the opposite side of things here. Clearing this first checkpoint, got a Crab in a great spot along the left side, although the man advantage heavily in the favor of FTWin. They get the wipeout, but still damage done. Prestige does clear that first checkpoint.
Yeah, that's going to be big later on in this game if they're able to kind of win some 1v1s and get some map control. But yeah, Prestige is waiting an opportunity that they can push forward. A lot of their members already pushed back here onto their plat. So just, again, waiting for a perfect opportunity. But FTWin doing what they do best and just getting these key lockout pushes. And look, now is going to be where they get past this first checkpoint. Still getting some picks along the way. We'll see if they can get to that second checkpoint and pass that 60 mark and able to take the lead. But Prestige doing a good job building up some of these specials to help keep them alive. And look at this. Two members are going to go down on FTWin once again. And speaking of weathering the storm, Prestige did that a second time.
Their defense has been pretty good so far. Yeah, they got a lead, but who really cares at this point? It's just going to come down to that second checkpoint down below. But still, Prestige holding their own in this one. Again, with a little bit of a little bit of an unorthodox comp that they got coming out here. Seems to be working out pretty well here in the early goings. But on the defensive side of things as well, FTWin still doing a good job. Prestige trying to poke, trying to make something happen. FTWin's just not getting anything.
Yeah, they really aren't. It's, you know, just kind of these 1v1s that FTWin just seems to be struggling with right now. As, again, this tower, look, we've been playing for about 3 minutes and have barely got to the second checkpoint either time. I think, you know, when FTWin can push, they really can push, but they just haven't been in that position. Like you said, it was the weathering the storm, the defensive plays by Prestige that's really what has been able to help them hold on to this lead for a little bit of time. But of course, with about a little under 2 minutes left, I think, you know, nothing is set in stone right now. I mean, they're doing all that they possibly can do. But if Prestige can keep pushing this tower, just keep applying some pressure, not overextend, they're going to be doing really well, as they have 3 members down on FTWin, 1v1 right now.
A 1v1, it seems like everybody, a bar fight just broke out in the bottom plat area right there, and FTWin is the last team standing on top of it. Well, a whole bunch of bodies hitting the floor there. Now, in order to get lead, you just got to get to the second checkpoint. You don't even have to think about clearing it right now, and of course, you want to clear it, but with a minute left to go, and how this game has been going with both teams really struggling, they've gotten to this plat area, as FTWin is doing yet again with Zipcaster and Ink Strikes. They've really struggled with holding control of this one. Keo finally getting back onto that tower is going to sneak the lead out for them, and maybe can find a way to add a few more points here, but still that pencil from Hypnos is very deadly, doing a good job of things, shutting it down. But still, it took us 4 minutes and 25 seconds just to get that many points. That could be a winning score on a map like this, or in a game like this is going.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be the first opportunity. I mean, this is the first time we saw a wipeout on this map, so really it's going to see if we're going to see if Prestige can make something of this. But I think, you know, the benefit of the wipeout has been ruined now with seemingly having this 4v4 all skirmish in mid. So right now, Prestige at a pretty large disadvantage, trying to find an opportunity that they can push, and it looks like FTWin's just going to hop on this tower to make sure Prestige can't, and FTWin's going to be taking game 1.
And that is just the third individual game that Prestige has lost this entire tournament. The only team to take 2 games off of them prior to this was Star Bust back on yesterday. FTWin continuing their dominance, which the name FTWin alone, with combination of Lana Del Rey apparently, is kind of known for. I believe that is Biscuit. By the way, Biscuit using Nautilus. Is this 2020? It's nice to see again.
Yeah, Nautilus, not something we see very often, but it's always fun to see, always bringing out the old reliables. I think, too, especially with a lot of these strong players, it's a lot of fun to see. But yeah, you know, Prestige held in there for quite some time against FTWin. And obviously, Prestige, fantastic players of their own, but we're just so used to seeing these FTWin dominating matches really at any stage of the tournament. And this is just a winner's quarterfinal. You know, Prestige now, they do have some counter picks that they can choose from, so we'll see what they can do. But overall, they can't be too disappointed about this effort that they put forward.
By the way, FTWin has not dropped a single game so far in this tournament. And before you say they've been playing nothing but cupcakes, 3-0'd Last Resort, 3-0'd Black Lotus, and now currently up 1-0 over Prestige as the number 5 seed. So here's my question. Is this an actual FTWin return to form team, or is this just a one-off thing? There's no way to know. I know at the end of one of the last majors, Keo was like, check the bio, and other players were doing that as well. And it's like, oh, FTWin is back. But we've been trolled by them before, so it's hard to tell. I will say this, though. Whenever FTWin doesn't want to be known as FTWin, they always change their name to something else or not FTW, and they want you to say not FTW. Don't say we're actually FTWin, because we're not. So the fact that they're using their actual brand name, I think, is very telling here. But we've been tricked before, so I refuse to believe this is what it's going to be going forward. But if you're in a coma for the past 2 years and you just woke up, they're playing like the FTWin you know and love.
Well, and I think too, and we were talking about this a little bit during our break, where, FTWin, they're a team that's had more than 4 members just, throughout the course of their team history. And for a lot of these majors, for Super Jump, for 20XX, lands and stuff, I'm not going to be surprised if any 4 of them just get back together. Like, we're getting the band back together to play in the major that they want to play in. But like you said, if it maybe is a one-off or a tournament that they don't want it to be taken as seriously, then yeah, you're going to see Lana Del Rey and the Teletubbies come out or something like that. But yeah, I'm not surprised by their appearance here. Now, are we going to see them at every single tournament, every major? I don't know, but just with choosing any of the 4 members that have played on the team at any time, like I think they're going to be sitting pretty well if they want to try and get that crew to go.
Where did the Teletubbies come from?
I don't know. I was just trying to think of something that wasn't the Little Timmies. I don't know.
Were you connecting Lana Del Rey to the
Absolutely.
Teletubbies?
It's the first thing that came to my mind.
A classic combination of those two. All right, your prestige. The counter picks come in, right? It is Splat Zones at Mako Mart. Fair enough. Pretty balanced map and mode there. Prestige trying to get back onto the winning track. This is a roster that can beat anybody. They're good enough to do just that. Obviously a difficult opponent going back up against, but this wasn't like Prestige wasn't in that one the entire game. Like, that was truly anybody's game.
Right.
The entire 5 minutes. So going to the more, what I consider to be the final destination of competitive Splatoon, Splat Zones at Mako Mart, trying to see if things work out to their favor. And of course, I didn't think about it, but this is obviously why they picked this. Carbon Roller works out really well.
Carbon works out really well just guarding some of these ledges. And hey, we're back in Splatoon 2, baby. We had Inkling Tower for Game 1. We're on the final destination of Splatoon 2, Splat Zones, Mako Mart. So Prestige is going to be getting that early zone, but a few of their members are going to be going down. So look at that, Lana Del Rey is going to be the one pushing forward on the knot as they are able to take some of this zone as well, but a few of their specials are still online for FTWin, and I think this is exactly what they were hoping to do in the first game and what we see FTWin do all the time. I say that as 2 of their members are going to be going down, and Prestige is trying to find an opportunity to break back in. But, not as skirmishy, not as melee-esque that we did see in the first game, just more patient gameplay this time around.
The map is the same from Splatoon 2, but as we looked at the zone right there, just being all kinds of hell falling on it from Ink Strikes and Ink Bazookas, that's a little bit different. We're not used to that. I guess we're kind of used to seeing missiles come raining down from the sky there, but man, the more things change, the more that kind of ended up staying the same right there as FTWin gets back control of the zone, losing a couple of players in the process as Prestige. Now it's their turn to tug the rope into their favor in this very tuggy and worry-ish minute and 30 seconds, much like the last game was as well.
Yeah, and I mean, again, for Prestige, it's really great that they are able to hang in there. And I don't want to say that as if like, oh, we're all surprised, but like just
yeah,
you know what I mean, like. But of course, you are facing a very strong legacy team, and you're able to contend, and they're doing a really good job. Not quite enough to take the lead just yet. Nobody has the zone actually right now. It's been uncontested for about 20 seconds or so, which is only going to benefit FTWin at this point since they do have the lead. Look, nobody has the zone right now still. So like it took FTWin about 30 seconds to cap it when I think they could have capped it a little bit before that, but again, they had the lead. They weren't losing anything about it other than maybe potentially knocking out Prestige a little earlier than they thought, because they are on track to do that right now, Popgun.
About 7 minutes have gone by in this entire set, and finally FTWin is able to get a really decent push off right here. In fact, Prestige is threatened to be KO'd at this point. They're going to have to use this Ink Bazooka to try to make something happen. They do take care of Zeras, fire some Ink Strikes across the zone as well to try to stall it out. The rain seems to be countering it for now, but there is enough players alive for Prestige to eventually get the zone back into their favor. But FTWin, the best push of the entire set right now, was right there. Able to get control of the zone and push up and take the fight to the enemy base and start winning all those fights consistently.
Yeah, they were able to do that pretty consistently, and I mean, Prestige now in a pretty good position as they are starting their lockout phase 2. They're going to be having the triple Ink Strike online from Hypnos here, who is still waiting for members to drop down, and I mean, they're making it hard for FTWin to drop down. Strikes and Zipcaster coming out for FTWin as they're going to be pushed back in. Zero's trying to get some splats along the way, but Prestige still able to hold on to the zone. Now with the help of the rain for FTWin, I don't know if that's going to be enough for them to cap, and 2 players are going to be down on Prestige, and that's going to be FTWin taking over the zone once again. A minute 30, less than the minute 30 remaining. 51 penalty points for Prestige, so we know if they get the zone, they better hold on to it for dear life.
It's going to be... Well, they got plenty of time to kind of work with here. They got, well, they had the man advantage for a little bit there until somebody just fell on top of a bomb, I think, on the back end. But they got some penalty points to work with as well. This isn't panic time for Prestige. You can build up some of your specials. You know, an Ink Strike and Zipcaster are coming right at you. If you find a way to get a pick on Zeros right here, that would be fantastic. They do just that, and now they're able to focus their attention back into the zone, throwing a lot of specials on top of it, as well as the Inkzuka. But even that's not enough. Oh, it looked like they timed it out just a few frames after the game ended. It did kind of do the little flash in the middle of the zone, but still, FTWin took care of business just barely enough to get the KO, and now they're up 2-0.
Yeah, you know, taking down Zera's just a little bit too late. You're right, they needed to do that, and we saw all the specials online being thrown towards the zone, but just a frame or two too late, I believe. Yeah, that was an incredible effort there for Prestige to push forward, and again, they were doing exactly what they needed to do, but time unfortunately wasn't on their side. And you're right, this was the moment to, or a little bit after this moment, I believe, is where we saw FTWin really just start to pick it up, being able to hold on to the zone. And again, nobody had it for like a solid 30 seconds at one time. But right after that, FTWin were able to just kind of regroup and, okay, we're going to take the zone and we're going to push forward and we're going to do it well. And again, that's exactly what they did in order to get the win. But yeah, Prestige had a lot of great efforts during the second game.
And if you're Prestige, you're down 0-2, but you're looking back and saying, okay, a play here and there, we win game 1. If we do a better job of capping this zone somehow in that awkward kind of stale break, I think it was around here.
Yeah,
it was basically the change of the tide. You know, this game works out into our favor as well. And again, Prestige, I don't think anybody's scared of anyone anymore. Like, back during the FTWin era, like, when you played against that team, just taking a game off of them meant something. And then when Starburst ran the show for 2 years. But with where things are right now, there's been so much parity across the board. I don't think anybody really looks at their opponent and says, oh, we can't beat these guys. I don't think there's any kind of thought in mind for Prestige there. So you win one game, you get the momentum under your belt, you know how to you kind of say to yourself, okay, we can clutch this out in these awkward back and forths that we're having with this team. Maybe we can find a way to win the next 2 games, pull off the reverse sweep here. But we're getting yet another kind of classic map mode combo in Rainmaker Undertow, something both of these teams have probably played thousands of times at this point.
Yeah, once again, kind of a bigger map, and, you know, talk about what your 2 potential pushes can be. It seems like that right checkpoint is kind of the easy first checkpoint if you just want to break something, where the left side is going to be the coordinated push. What did we compare this to on Friday?
I was just thinking the
like,
same
it was
thing.
I forget what stage I said it was. It was the light version. I
forget as well. I think it was one of the it's another Rainmaker map that's in this tournament.
Yeah.
But yeah, you were basically pointing out how, that's going to really bother me.
I know. You'll have to look at the map list.
Of course, nobody knows what we're talking about.
No, unless you were there and you're able to see it.
I will stall. You look up the map list because you'll remember it then.
Sure.
But yeah, Rainmaker Undertow. And as soon as I say that, everybody's starting up and we're getting into this game anyways here. That is the vacuum charger that they're coming out with on the side of Hypnos and Prestige. So maybe trying to find a way to get the Rainmaker to that left side, pop the vacuum, and they can find ways to sneak up through that unequal, give them a really good lead. Probably could be used well in the defenses. What happened to Zeros?
Yeah, what? Was that the charger shot? Was that Hypnos who just shot them really early on. Maybe they got up on one of the ledges.
It
Yeah,
had to have been.
Yeah,
There's no way the blast would explode that far.
Right. Yeah, I think
Right.
that's I think that's what happened. That's what our streamer is telling us. They probably kept an eye on them. So yeah, that's a early drop, but you know, seemingly not being very affected right now as all this momentum happened well after. Look at this. This is the I'll say the easy right-hand push where if you just want to break a checkpoint and maybe work something a little bit after that. If Xeris can get this pick too, that's going to be really nice to help FTWin get back into mid. But yeah, Xeris is going to be going down to this Trizuka, and it looks like FTWin is just waiting for somebody to try and go for that Rainmaker, and they do. So Rainmaker is going to reset, 3 members going to be down, and FTWin is going to have an opportunity to push forward this time around.
I love the strategy by Prestige right there. Go for that right checkpoint, but cover it with the vacuum. That way you clear the easiest checkpoint to get the most points of almost for free because you're guarding it with the vacuum. So that doesn't mean they're going to keep pushing it right going forward. Now they can go left without having to make that awkward pit stop at that second checkpoint. So nice, quick grab to get the first checkpoint out of the way with the combination of using the vacuum with Hypnos, who's probably going to get a little bit of a delayed explosion there. But Hypno's still doing a good job of staying alive, using that vacuum to its full extent of its advantage until Kyo just comes to your face and eliminates you.
Yeah, and that vacuum push is something that you not rehearse, but like you know that's going to be your opening push. Like, hey, once we get the Rainmaker, once the vacuum's ready, we are going to push here. Nobody can spot you. We just want to make sure the pedestal is painted. But yeah, now it looks like FTWin is opting to take it on this left side again. A little bit more of a patient push that you need to happen here, as Prestige is going to be picking up the... Oh, no, I guess it was FTWin who had to pick it back up once again to get to this checkpoint. So we're going to see a Vac versus Kraken here. Kyo's going to be winning that one with the Kraken, as Burt is going to be going down as well. So pushing to 41, but FTWin not letting go any of the pressure, even though they're a little bit staggered. Look at this, up all the way on the Slick. Not like they were contested in a 3v1, but was that Biscuit there who was able to just push forward and say, hey, I'm just going to sneak right past you here and get past the Slick. So getting to 17, now you just got to make sure that FTWin isn't going to have any secret crazy flank happen here, and it seems like with Hypnos guarding this ledge, that's not going to happen. So I believe the Rainmaker is going to reset, but yeah, a really good push there for FTWin.
That push is so frustrating. When you have the player in your sights, and then you just like miss the Inkzuka shot or whatever, and then they just go all the way across the uninkable, because that's so hard for you to replicate that. Now to get to 16 for Prestige, they have a long way they got to go, and they can't even get to mid right now because there's macaroni yellow all over the place. And, oh, by the way, FTWin is now starting to push with the Rainmaker again, with another Kraken, with another Ink Strike, with another Zipcaster ready to go. And they're just kind of camping things out on the left side, just waiting for disaster to happen. This is not looking good for Prestige right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, they're not even using their specials. Look, like, they're FTWin is, okay, now they are using the Zipcaster, which is going to go down and get splatted, and the Rainmaker is going to get splatted too. They still have the Kraken and the triple Ink Strike on the line, but it's just going to be the 96 who's alive who's going to be backing out. That's going to be Kyo waiting and just kind of sharking, maybe trying to get a little bit of a flank pick here. But a few of their other members were able to stop Prestige before they were able to push back into mid. But yeah, a lot of the map control still, like you said, macaroni orange, as FTWin is just playing a very careful defensive game right now. And of course, they don't have the checkpoint safety net, but again, with how large this map is, there's going to be plenty of opportunity for them to back up if they need to.
If you can get that vacuum up to the uninkable along the left side, maybe there's a way you can guide it into 16 points remaining. You're not going to do that with Xeris eliminating you, though, immediately. Well, they did have Soda, so Hypnos is back in line. They are pushing around this left side. Xeris is down. There is a Kraken ready to go, and as long as Kyo's basically on the uninkable with the Kraken, there's not really much you can do. Kyo's popping it early, trying to just go straight. Whoa! I don't think they're going to get anything on top of that. The Rainmaker is going to escape, but combined with the Zipcaster, though, and the Ink Strike. So using the specials together in conjunction with the Kraken forced Prestige into an awkward kind of trap right there, and getting across the uninkable ultimately didn't mean enough because, well, FTWin did FTWin things. and they just dominated from there on out. 3-0, still yet to drop a game in this tournament.
Very, very impressive, and got more comfortable each game that we saw. Game 1, of course, Prestige, they were able to take the lead at a few of these opportunities and held it together during Game 2. But yeah, this match seems it was all FTWin. I mean, Prestige had the opening push there, and unfortunately for them, it didn't work out. But yeah, like the VAC push right here at the very beginning, we knew that was going to be something that Prestige planned. They're like, okay, we need to get a checkpoint, and then we can focus our main push potentially on the left side later on. But let's at least take care of this. If we do this now, it's one less thing we have to worry about in the future. But yeah, with FTWin, they were doing such a good job. Even when Prestige picked up the Rainmaker, FTWin did a fantastic job of just saying, hey, you can't get close to us. We are going to push you back so far that you have nowhere to go. You're going to be either forced off the map or just cornered and pincered into a position where you're going to get splatted. So, a fantastic win there for FTWin, and I think there with Biscuit pushing up along the slick ramp and just not getting splatted too, you're like, uh-oh. And if you're Prestige, that is hard because now you're pretty much in knockout territory if you want to try and get a win.
And if there was a time of possession stat, I would assume FTWin either had the Rainmaker or had comfortable control of mid for at least 3.5 minutes there. There wasn't a lot of opportunities for Prestige to do the vacuum strat they wanted to do on offense because they constantly had to use it just to keep themselves in the game or to slowly work their way back in the mid, or they just couldn't use it at all because Hypnos was constantly just under duress, mainly by Keo, getting a cheeky 96 fall-off kill on them from over a wall. Like, when that happens, it's just, okay, everything's just working into their favor right now. So, FTWin, and now here's what's interesting going forward. Guess who FTWin gets to play next?
Yeah,
Jackpot team that is yet to lose a single game all tournament as well. And this is, again, really turning back the clock. Jackpot versus FTWin was a thing like in the pandemic era. So this is a really bizarre tournament that just keeps getting weirder and weirder, but that is going to be a fantastic set. Is that going to be on the Dapple stream?
That is, yeah.
Okay.
So you guys open both streams, first of all. Like, don't close out of our stream to go watch that one. You should. If you have 2 monitors, there's no reason why you shouldn't have both streams open to begin with. But yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun, and who knows, maybe we can try and keep you guys updated what's going on in that match during our game too. But like you said, FTWin and Starburst haven't dropped a game so far. One of them's going to drop a game. One of them's going to drop a set and go on to the losers bracket. It's a matter of which team's going to be doing that.
In theory, unless game 1 is like a Clan Blitz game where they decide to tie it out 8 minutes, yeah, it will. Somebody's going to take their first L there. By the way, it was Hagglefish, wasn't it?
Yes, it was Hagglefish. I looked it up. Yeah, it was Hagglefish is Undertow light or Undertow. Yeah, whatever. If you're at Proving Grounds, you know. But hey, before we move on to the next set, we have a short little video for you guys. So go ahead and take a look at this.
Q.
Q.
Q. Q.
Me, I guess, because, or I guess you, well, like, Ryan's either asleep or, like, I have to drive home from work at 4, and we usually scrim at, like, 4:10, so I'm not always on time.
Q.
Wait, don't call me. I'm gonna join soon.
Don't call me unless I'm not awake by 11:55.
Yeah.
Dude, I literally show up on time.
You're always
Tournament-
last. Tournament starts at 12. If you call me at 11:59, I'm gonna murder you. I'm gonna block
be
you.
mad.
I'm gonna block you.
I'm gonna block your number.
I'm not gonna play if you call me. Don't call me.
I think we're all pretty good. Like, we're all generally on time. It's all... I missed a Looty set once, but everyone was very understanding. Everyone was very understanding about that.
This kid's always calling my phone to wake me up for sure. I have the worst sleep schedule on the planet.
Naja, aber manchmal, also bei mir war auch, aber okay, Jaro.
It's switching up between Yahoo and Wasabi, oh god.
Yeah, sometimes it happens that I just don't want to play and I just come a little bit late. So.
He's a little.
I'm playing with the friends,
I
I'm
don't
showering,
want to play.
Yeah.
I make some food.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
Okay, there you are, Popgun. You were listening though. You have your headset on. Okay. I want to ask: have you ever had to call a teammate because they didn't join the voice call for?
Oh my god, dude! God bless anybody who captains a team, especially a team that's been going on for multiple years, which Jackpot and FTWin have been in their past. Yes, I have. It's frustrating. It's annoying. But, I mean, you're dealing with 4 human beings, some of which have school obligations, some have adult obligations, relationships. There's a lot of things to manage, but yes, it is. I've multiple screenshots. There's one person in particular who I will still to this day gripe at on Destiny Troops for constantly being late for everything.
You know, even though I haven't played comp for that much, I've had the same moment, especially for a night tournament from the Ink Up. Now, I know she's not watching this because she's commentating right now on Dapple's stream, but her name's Sapphire, but I've had to call her a few times to get back into our groups. But hey, that's part of comp, baby. You know, that's all part of trying to organize something with 4+ players who all have different sleep schedules and different schedules altogether. But yeah, it happens. It happens.
There you go. We're going to be bringing you guys another set in a moment. I think if we take a look at the bracket here, obviously FTWin and Jackpot should be going live on Dapple stream. I'm assuming it at any moment. Unless they're... What match is currently going on Dapple? So are they doing Fiesta and Moonlight? No, they did CometX and AR, didn't they?
Yeah, I believe so. And right now they're also... I don't know where they are right now. I think they're just kind of waiting for that set to start. They have Gem on right now, so they're waiting for their game too. Yeah, you guys don't have Squid School here, but you have Falco and Popgun. So, you are.
It's a bit of a downgrade.
Hey, let's give ourselves some credit here. but no, a lot of cool. I think it's really cool. First of all, that Gem is able to do this for Dapples. It's always great to see his insight and what he has to say, and he does a really good job managing kind of the VOD and the replays and pointing out key things, because that's something he's doing on the man too. You know what I mean? He finds key moments. He's like, I need to save this, jot this down. So super cool that we are able to use Gem for this tournament.
And while we're kind of waiting for these sets to go off here, we're going to give you guys another bit of an ad break. Or I guess we're going to read off some more ads. Hey, if you want to donate to this event, paypal.com/PayPalMe/20XX Splat. 25% of your donations goes back to the organization to help grow the competitive Splatoon scene. And also 75% goes to whoever wins this tournament, which is nice. I'm more interested in the 25% though. That is the groundbreaking addition to this tournament. Hopefully it's something that we can see in other tournaments going forward. But donate. You have money that you don't want to use for anything else. Give it to Splatoon.
Give it to Splatoon and go to Breeze as well. If you're not going to spend your money there, spend it on going to Breeze as well. Again, like you mentioned, it's one of your goals before you leave this Earth to go to a European land, and man, that sounds so fun. For us, it's Thanksgiving weekend. I know that's a huge travel time, but a lot of players I know from North America, a lot of spectators even, are going to be traveling abroad to go there too. You and I are spoiled, kind of being in the Midwest. Riptide is in driving distance from both of us, so we, that's our thing. And for a lot of these players here in Europe, this is a major that they are looking forward to. So yes, please scan that QR code for more information about Breeze. We can't wait to see that stream. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Also, Splatoon Stronghold is a thing, and you can join it by going to that Discord link or looking at Twitter or going to the internet, which is the internet symbol, SplatoonStronghold.com. It is a place to where if you're looking to get started in competitive Splatoon, they got some resources to direct you into the right path. So check them out.
Yeah, I've poked around in that server. Also, sorry, the sun is like beaming right.
Yeah,
into my
what
eyes
happened
right
to
now.
you?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm
Are
in
you
the
going to
basement.
heaven right now? What is this?
Yes. No. So. I'm at my in-laws' house now because apparently I got notification that our internet is back up. My wife texted me. We do have internet there. However, I'm not going to leave in the middle of the broadcast. But no, I'm sitting in the basement, and their recessed window is like shining in my face. So I apologize for that. But hey, I'm just going to go a little bit blind trying to look at my screen. I might fix a few things later. But yeah, the sun. Thankfully, the sun is not setting for me right now or anytime soon. We're on the western side of the eastern time zone. I have friends who live in New England where it's sunset at like 3:30, 4 o'clock in about an hour.
There's no moonlight where you're at.
There's no moonlight where I am. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, we are waiting for our second match to start. These are not. I believe Fiesta is going to be one of the teams moving on. However, we're still waiting on confirmation for the next team that we are going to be showing here on IPL stream of 20XX. So, a lot of fun competition so far. The sun is. I wish it was sunny in 75, but no, it is. I think it's only 54 degrees. 54 for me. Yeah, it's perfect. This is perfect fall weather for us.
It looks like you've opened the briefcase in Pulp Fiction, and they're like, Falco, are we happy? And you're like, yeah, we're happy. Like, there's something just completely magical that you're looking at. Do you have sunglasses anywhere? I think you can
Not
get
here.
away with doing that.
They might be in my car. Again, when I brought stuff over for to come to my in-laws, I was moving so much stuff. Like, I brought this green screen over. Like, I brought everything. I was like, hello, father-in-law, I'm here to invade your basement. But yeah, so... I bought him Popeyes. It's okay. I stopped and got lunch on the way. Barter. But hey, we have a lot of so this is obviously a major, a worldwide major, and one of our teams, actually two of our teams, CometX and Fiesta, are both from Japan. So
yes,
right now in Japan, I believe it's about like 3 in the morning, 3:30 in the morning. I would be lying if I told you I knew things about some of these players because I don't, but I love to see competition across the world, especially at this high level.
Yeah, if you had Magic and 9 whole grains commentating this set, they could probably give you way more insight than Falco and I could give you, unfortunately. But what we do know is, regardless of our failed pronunciation of these names, our apologies, we know these players are going to be good because CometX, or just Comet in general, has been playing in the vast majority of these tournaments anyways, leading up to this point. Several 20XXs. I think they've been in a Super Jump or two. Never won it. Probably been in some Mode Cups as well. The players of Fiesta, I don't initially recognize some of those names, especially not the Fiesta name as well. But if you look at what they've been doing so far in this tournament, I don't think Fiesta is undefeated as far as sets is going. They've lost one game to Whale Gang, one game to Duck Motif, and they just completed a 3-1 win over Moonlight. So they haven't lost a set so far, but they did just finish off Moonlight there. CometX, I don't think they've dropped a single game along the way. So yeah, 3 of the 4 teams in the final 4 of the winner side of the bracket have yet to drop a single game. Fiesta is the only one who has. But you're looking at clearly the best of the best that we got left here.
Yeah, CometX, look, getting that 3-0 win over Alliance Rogue, too. We've seen Alliance Rogue. I mean, everybody here obviously knows who they are, but when you 3-0 a team like Alliance Rogue, you're like, all right, here's obviously a team to pay attention to. And we've heard the name CometX, but again, just kind of some of the individual informations about the players, yeah, I'm not too familiar with. But again, I guess, you could talk about what players might have an advantage just based on what time it is that they're playing, but if both teams, it's early in the morning for them, it's gonna, I don't know, like, you don't have any sort of advantage at all.
Well, and also
they're from Japan needs it.
There's probably not as much latency issues as if they go up against each other. Anyway, I mean, it's still like, our broadcaster is in A, so it's like going from there to there. I don't know how that affects things, but at least this is going to be as authentic as an online match as you can get between two teams from Japan. I'm assuming, at least from our perspective there.
Yeah. But like you said, having our spec cam then come back to North America for Canada, all the way back then to Japan. I don't know, maybe we will see funky things on spec cam. I doubt they will, with just how close they are to each other. But,
Right.
But yeah.
What you see on spec cam is usually not. It's not a 100% representation of what's actually happening within the game. It's just kind of like it tries to like blend things, especially movements. It tries to like blend them together to where it's not. It's more smooth looking. But regardless, here we go. CometX versus Fiesta. I believe they just went by Comet before, so I don't know what makes them X this time around.
That's what I was thinking too, because it's like I've heard of the Japanese team Comet, and I think too, I don't know if maybe they added more players to the roster, or it's a not FTWin equivalent of their team, or just whatever they want to be called that maybe is not their core roster. Who knows? But you're right, we have seen them play kind of at these top levels, top tournaments as well too. So hey, it's always fun, and like Splatoon is for everybody. I'm glad that there are teams who are able to play, especially in Japan, that we don't get to see very often. Of course, Japan has their own scene where they hold all their fantastic tournaments, that Nine and Magic always have the pleasure of commentating, and we love watching it too, even though it's pretty early for us. But it's great that they are able to be here on Dapples and IPL today.
And I believe they're just now getting into the lobby to try to get things to this might be a little bit of a slower set because the language barrier. I think we're just having to like figure out what exactly is being said, especially when it comes to counter picks. But we'll get through this set. Should be an awesome thing. I'm excited to see what kind of comps that were coming out here. You kind of mentioned the scene in Japan. It's funny. We classify things from North America, Europe, South, like we classify things by continents, but Japan is their own classification. Like the country represents an entire continent just from how they play. Like one country is great and fantastic at this video game. So,
and it's not even us who does it. It's Nintendo who does that too. So
right,
it's not even us as the grassroots scene saying like, oh, we have North America, you have Europe, and Japan. No, Nintendo's the one who does that with choosing which region you're going to play. I mean, yeah, they'll lump Australia in there too, but I think that is for just network reasons. But even Nintendo is segmenting it that way too.
And I think we are getting into lobby, so we'll be bringing you this action pretty soon. By the way, if you were looking for Jackpot versus FTWin, you can pull up that stream as well. Just make sure you mute it because you're not going to want to hear whatever those commentators have to say. You're going to want to listen to us here as we each attempt to... I'm not even going to attempt just because I know I'm going to butcher something and it's going to be horrible, so I'm not going to try to mispronounce somebody's name here, but we are going to be seeing some incredible, amazing competitive Splatoon action coming forward very shortly between CometX and Fiesta. I think we're just waiting on one more player in particular to join the lobby, and it's going to be Clamblitz at Scorch Gorge, which is going to be game one. By the way, worth noting, whenever you have this counterpick format, it's usually game one is Splat Zones. And the community has always been back and forth of like, well, Splat Zone sucks in Splatoon 3. And then somebody started using Kraken, and I was like, okay, Clamblitz sucks. And tower control's too snowbally, and so that sucks. So I like the fact that there's more than just one mode in game one, which is supposed to be like the neutral mode. Because in a format like this where it's best of 5, winning game one in theory gives you an insane amount of power to win the entire set, because all you got to do is win on your counter picks and you win. Easier said than done. It's not like you have a home field advantage. It's not like an NBA playoff kind of thing, but still, if you just take care of your business, you get to control game 5, which gives you a huge advantage. So game 1 being something other than Splat Zones, I think is an interesting mix to things.
Yeah, and I think the point that you brought up earlier about like, we're seeing two teams from Japan probably playing comps that we don't typically see in here on the Western side. again, there is enough diversity right now. Of course, like we're always going to see Zuka, but there's a whole other realm of weapons and possibilities that players can play that is just way more popular in Japan than it is here. And you know, it's always going to be really great to see that. To keep you guys updated on the Jackpot FTWin over on Dapple's, I don't believe they've started yet, so you guys aren't missing anything over there either. So again, we'll try and keep you updated here on this stream. Again, you should have both streams open regardless, but we will get started with this set here between CometX and Fiesta very shortly.
We assume. Oh wait, no, they're all in the lobby.
They're all in.
They're all readied up. So yeah, it is. We're not just we're not just stalling anymore. There is something that's going to take place in the next 20 seconds or so. Again, game 1, Clam Blitz at Scorch. And this is what's interesting from our perspective, is that you and I have no idea what to expect. Like you said, I would assume we're still going to see Zuka. But I mean, we don't know, just because this is mainly a mystery for us. There's somebody in chat that's like, yo, how could you guys not know what CometX is going to be using? Well, okay, look.
We're going to find
we'll have
out.
the answer for you right now, yeah. Game 1, best of 5, CometX versus Fiesta. There is, that is a C-Jet, or is that a vanilla? I don't know, that is a vanilla.
Yep, that's the vanilla jet. And then I'm trying to think, okay, so really nothing too crazy. You know, we are going to see the Kraken come out on the side of Fiesta. They are going to be using Splat Dualies to get their crab too. But let's see what else is in store. We're going to see the Wiper. We haven't really seen the Wiper yet today as well. We've seen a few Stampers here and there, but first time with the Wiper. And we're going to see some specials being used pretty early on. Kraken is going to be online for CometX. And it looks like CometX is doing a really good job maintaining a lot of map control right now. And 2 members from Fiesta were up here on top mid. And look at this, one of the players, that is going to be the Dualies, who's over on the side of CometX already. But I think they did that just to try and stay alive from the Kraken. I don't know what they're going to be doing at this point on, but right now it seems to be Fiesta's game in their control.
Yeah, they got control of mid. They're not using the Kraken in the kind of jump to the basket kind of way. They just didn't really have a lot of clams to do that. So using the Kraken to make sure they gather up some space. And that is the vacuum of the V-Jet, a weapon. That's probably the most unique weapon in the lobby right now. It's just, okay, a vacuum spamming weapon that puts out a lot of paint, mind you. But how are they going to use the vacuum on the defensive and offensive side of things, I think is going to be the key for CometX here.
Yeah, it really is. They're playing a patient game here, having that power claim, but not opting to push forward just yet. Again, it's hard for these teams to kind of regroup and push forward with how aggressive Fiesta is and how well they're playing on defense, too. We're going to see the Vac come out, and the Kraken and the Zuka coming up. Look at that. Just, hey, the one thing that can just shoot into a Vac and counter it is the Kraken. They're going to be pushing forward, and CometX is going to be the first one to score. 2 of their members are down right now, and it's just going to be the Splash who has some claims, but they are not in a position to score, as that is going to be a one and done for CometX. About 2 minutes into the set, a very slow and patient game, Popgun.
Yeah, and that's not the push you want to go for. No matter who you are, you don't want to just pop the basket and get 0 points out of it other than 80 remaining. Who's given a free power claim to the enemy team, and they lost a lot of players in the process. So they see Fiesta making the map very blue, but they're jumping into a squeezer that's just jumping on top of the grates right there, mowing down a couple of players. And are we going to see Fiesta try to pop the basket right here? They don't really have anything else to... Okay, so they are going to pop the basket. They basically have nothing else, but they are getting the splash they need to keep the basket open a little bit longer here. So Fiesta, with Soda to boot as well, is in a good situation to slowly make this push from something into from nothing into something.
Yeah, and they're doing a good job getting these staggered follow-up clams in and just really prolonging this basket. So a very good push there for Fiesta. Now, they were able to break back in after a little bit of time, but yeah, if you can just keep the enemy team on their toes, if you can keep Comet on their toes while their basket is open and just slowly get in 1, 2, 3 clams, have players back up and try and score more, that's just going to make CometX scramble a little bit more. And again, just having all that pressure applied to them too, it's going to make them scramble a little bit. But yeah, now CometX in a position to try and get some more map control. They did lose quite a bit of it from that push from Fiesta, but they're really trying with some of these pushes. You see the Crab come out online. We're going to see the Kraken on the side of Fiesta push in, and 2 players going to be down on the side of CometX, and Fiesta might be picking up right where they left off.
They used the Kraken to kill people instead of just find a way to open the basket. What a unique concept. Seems to be working out into Fiesta's favor so far. But again, it's something they could use down the line. If it's something to where, oh, we just need to pop the basket in overtime to end the game, we have the option right there. We saw Moonlight do it before. That's something we'll keep an eye on. And that's something that's going to be in the back of CometX's mind as well. They got to be realizing, okay, we really don't have a minute left. We got like 50 seconds left, because if it comes down to they got the basket open at the end and the game's over, we got to move now. So I think you're going to see CometX start to be a little bit more aggressive here. Maybe try to find a way to use that crab and that vacuum in conjunction with each other. And as soon as I say that, that's all they got right now. And the crab is just going to have to retreat and back up with their teammates.
Yeah, and that is a hard position to be in. And now Fiesta is just waiting for CometX to try and push forward. They're doing such a good job just holding mid and holding the tower here as well. Comet is just really trying to find any opportunity that they can, and they are able to get 2 picks here with the help of the Ultra Stamp. Can they get one more, pushing up and throwing towards the basket? Almost, I thought they were going to be taking out that crab, but no, they didn't. I believe the crab is still okay. Now it's gone now, but Comet has 2 power claims that they're trying to control to see whatever they can score in. But the crack coming out from Fiesta, we are going to be seeing one of the throws. But look at all these power claims on the line, Pop Gun. Comet needs to find an opportunity, any opportunity they can, and they do have the player advantage, so let's see what they can do in these next few seconds.
They're going to pop the basket and get the lead right back. You know what? Okay, so that was interesting, because when we saw Moonlight in that same exact situation, they used the Kraken, go to the basket, you jump to me, we pop the basket, we automatically win. Instead, what you saw there was the team that had the lead used the Kraken on defense to try to get some splats. Instead of using that play, it didn't work out into their advantage at all. It ultimately opened up the door for CometX to just waltz right in and walk their way to an overtime victory.
You're right. There were no instances of any of these pushes from the Kraken that we saw that they were using it as a jump aid. It was all a defensive move. Notes even when they had the power claims, even when Fiesta, even when Fiesta was holding onto power claim, they just never found it necessary really to just break in and push with the Kraken pushes too. So again, I'm happy to see Kraken being used. That's not quote-unquote the Kraken cheese that we typically see, but yeah, taking out the vac right here, I think it's just something, it's really satisfying to see, because a lot of the times we talk about how like vac is so hard to counter, especially when you're pushed back into a corner, but Kraken's like, nope, gonna lock on, gonna splat you. So a lot of great plays there on the side of Fiesta. And
look at them.
I know.
Just riding the rail to make sure I got the maximum amount of distance I need to get the splats that you can't get against me on top of there. Just, I mean, it's not like it's a mind-boggling play or anything. It's just cool to see.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, these last few minutes, this is where we saw that CometX, they, of course, didn't have the lead, and we're trying to find opportunities for them to break in. And, using some of these specials, this is where, like, you use your special now, you're probably going to get one more later on at the end of the game. And I thought, too, with this stamp play and just how well CometX was able to push back members of Fiesta, we saw all the power claims that they were getting online. But, yeah, with the Kraken trying to come out, of course, trying to take out that crab, and it was just a little bit too late going down later on, and all of these clams there on the side of CometX really helped them seal the deal.
And again, that's something where with Moonlight, how they would play that is completely different at the end there. Now, I'm not sitting here saying like these teams are representing Japan's play style. Like, we're not going to just generalize that. They're representing CometX and they're representing Fiesta, so don't read into that. But that's just it's just an interesting play. They ended up using the Kraken in different ways other than just trying to cheese it. Where if they cheesed it, they probably would have just won. Counter pick coming out here. It is Fiesta making the pick. By the way, CometX has yet to lose a single game. That streak is continuing now. They're up 1-0, and we're going to Umami. Black zones.
Umami zones, controlling both of those zones. Again, and like you said, we can't even pretend like we know what to expect or what we want to see, just because Again, players from a different region that we're not as familiar with. Also, to keep you guys updated on the side of the Dapple stream, Jackpot is up 1-0 over FTWin. They are in Game 2 right now.
Ooh, I wonder if they did crack and cheese in their Clan Blitz Scorch game.
We'll find out. I don't know. I'll watch the VOD later.
We're the only two people that don't know.
No, for real, we are the only two people who don't know because we don't have it open. So we could just be making stuff up and we could be totally lying, and you guys will have to keep us accountable for that. But let's hop into Game 2 now. Splat Zone Zumani, as we see who's going to come victorious in the second game of our semifinal match.
Waiting for the weapons to come out here. That is a Rapid Blaster Pro Deco. And a pretty standard cop coming out from the side of Fiesta as well. Doubling down with those dualies, the comeback quick respawn dualies. But the interesting... it's still vacuum, isn't it, with that thing?
Yeah, I believe it is still vacuum, yeah. Because that's not going to be... Yeah.
Oh, no. That's
is that
Killer Whale.
Okay.
I think it's
yeah, they're using it. Yeah, okay, yeah, right, yeah. The other one does have back on there. But yeah, so quick early lead here for CometX. 2 members are going to go down on Fiesta. Fiesta still has 2 specials online. They're going to have the Crab and the Zuko when they want to try and push forward, opting to use the Zukas right now, but CometX really not giving up any space except for that Stamp who's going to go down. So they're doing a really good job holding on, but I think Fiesta is finally making a move here to try and break in, capping their right zone first, then pushing forward, and they are going to get that zone takeover.
Not really much space for the players that are in mid from the side of CometX to go, in a great pincer situation going on there. You had a couple players from Fiesta going from left and right, and also the pencil attacking from mid as well. So CometX getting cleaned up there, opening up the door for Fiesta to throw down some soda, get a lot of paint down, build up some specials of their own. And what is CometX going to do to break out of it? Keep in mind, Killer Whale got buffed recently in the last patch. Not enough to do any damage right there, but it is enough to at least force players from Fiesta to move a little bit so the rest of CometX can converge onto the zone.
Yeah, and CometX doing a pretty good job pushing forward, but I think Fiesta's still just on edge. And that's why, like, whenever Comet has it, they don't have it for very long, at least at this point of the game, because Fiesta's been doing such a good job holding on. 2 players are going to go down on CometX. We see the Cooler come out online for the side of Fiesta. We are going to see a little bit of a skirmish here. Can the Wiper take down some of the players? No, they can't quite yet. Just waiting and trying to poke around the corner. And again, zone is now capped by Fiesta just momentarily. This is a very, very close map where we haven't really seen any lockout phase so far. Just a lot of back and forth trades. And, you know, once somebody takes the zone, they're not really following up with it either. It's more of like, okay, we have it, cool, we're getting points, but we're not going to really touch up after we initially cap it.
CometX is doing a good job of controlling what is currently the top side of the screen right there, that little wall area. I believe it was the Splashmatic doing a good job of just kind of dancing around that wall, dodging Inkzuka strikes, or shots that were fired right at it, and making sure they get splashed around that area. Controlling that key area allows the rest of CometX to kind of take care of the rest of the map as well, most notably that bottom side, which they're doing a good job of holding onto here, wrestling the zone back into their favor. I don't think it's going to be enough to get control of the lead, but still, look where that splash is yet again, up on that top side of the map, and they can't do anything about it. Finally, sending 2 players, and now that it looks like they finally wrestled away control of that area.
Yeah, that was a pretty long overdue push for them too. But yeah, I think too, with just all this back and forth, it's really hard. I'd say none of these teams have really had a solid 4 using our specials pushing forward, and it is a little bit staggered, but that just shows how competitive that these 2 teams are with each other. And of course, we don't know the player history between these 2 teams. They could be, you know, we use it from Scrim partners all the time. They could play each other in regular tournaments at this high level, but they're doing such a good job countering one of each other for every single move that they both have, because again, we're about a little over a minute left and nobody has gotten down past the 40 mark.
When was the last time someone scored a point? I guess right now is when
Yeah.
it's going to take place. Actually, they're going to get a lot of points out of this situation right here because that Rapid Blaster, Odin, was just completely mowing down people as they were coming out of spawn. Finally jumping back out, realizing, hey, timer's ticking down. Let's make sure that I'm alive so that we can keep throwing paint down on the zone and we can extend this lead instead of me trying to get some more splats against people with respawn armor here. And look at that. Mowing down, waiting for Fiesta to come to them, and then they all collapse on the one player that's overextending to make sure to get the splat right there. Hammer trying to make something happen on the top of the screen, gets destroyed by two, a crab and one other player on top of that. But CometX is just finally orchestrating a beautiful push right here. And will Fiesta be able to find a way to wrestle it back into the favor? I don't think they're going to. I think this is it.
Yeah, I think so too. And I mean, Comet's down one player, but okay, now they have the two-player advantage. Yeah, that's going to be the GG. It took them a little bit of time to get that going, but man, Fiesta was, I don't know, again, they just were able to counter each other so well. You know, with that final stamp coming out at the end, I was like, oh, this is going to seal the deal, but with them not taking down the crab, and I believe there was another weapon that was able to, you know, take down the stamp, that was, you know, it's like, oh, this could go on for a little bit longer, but no. CometX able to, I don't want to say hold on. They weren't really holding on, but it was more of like, okay, we're going to play a very neutral game for the first 3 minutes and 30 seconds of the game, potentially 4 minutes. Because like you said, it was a long time before anybody scored any points after probably that 2-minute mark. There were just a lot of penalty points that they were going back and forth on. So, yeah, that was a really good win there for CometX, just to kind of wait and be patient and then knowing when to strike forward.
I like the flexibility of Odin as well, the player that was on the Rapid Blaster Deco. It's traditionally a weapon that's quote-unquote a support weapon, just because you can use it to create chip damage for other people to finish off a player if you're like doing like a pincer situation on something. But Odin was able to push up several times into the enemy base with it, and then also realizing, okay, this is not the time I need to be up here. Let me go back, make sure I can keep presence on the zone, get that zone guard title that you can get, whatever the hell that means officially. But Odin's flexibility, being able to adjust their play style throughout the middle of the game, probably was the difference there, especially during that final push that CometX was able to pull off there, going basically just taking care of business from 55 to 0.
Yeah, and that's, you know, that's kind of the gameplay that we expected to see there. It just took a little bit of a longer time for us to see it. But again, a lot of great plays all around for both of these teams to try and get the win. But yeah, Fiesta being down 0-2, they are going to have one more, or potentially one more counter. Well, they will have one more counter pick because they can only be afforded one more counter pick. But still trying to get a game off of that and move on potentially before they might go to the losers bracket. Right now on Dapple Productions, we are tied 1-1 in that Jackpot versus FTWin set, and right now they are playing Game 3 on Splat Zone's Mahi Mahi.
By the way, CometX is now the last team standing that has yet to lose a game in this tournament, and might go into winners finals as the only team not to lose a game. They looked really good against Fiesta here. That's not to say Fiesta hasn't had their moments. Decent lead in game 1, back and forth in game 2, and now going into a game 3, Mako Mart Splat Zones. I guess CometX is the team that's kind of changing things up. C-Jet, one game, Rapid Blaster Deco here, and this is Fiesta that's making all these counter picks. So Fiesta they kind of know what they want to do comp-wise going into this one. But seems like CometX is making adjustments as even during the game. It seems like they're making adjustments with how they adapt to their own play styles. That seems to be the difference so far.
Yeah, and again, it's hard for us to really expect and predict what they could be trying to do. But yeah, we can see on the side that one of the teams is readied up, and you said, I believe that's Fiesta, where CometX is the one who's, you know, kind of taking a little bit more time. Or okay, CometX is the one who's readied up. Yeah, but again, or he could just be waiting out the clock. You know, you never know what they're doing. They could just be talking and playing the same weapons too. That's always a possibility. But right now, Jackpot is also up 2-1 over FTWin on the side of Dapples.
By the way, we got a quick shot of your face. I gotta say, now that you're not blinded by the sun, I gotta say you're looking pretty sharp today. Just wanted to throw
Appreciate
that
it.
out
Thank you.
there.
You know, I was wearing a t-shirt and I was like, you know what? I'm on Dapples. I'm on IPL. Got to put on. It's fall. I got to wear the flannel. You know.
Yes.
So I've gotta stay fresh. It's a little warm down here, but it's not too bad.
It is extremely warm where I am. I can't wait for the set to end. I can open a window. Anyways, 2-0 in the favor of Comet. No changes from their comp, and Fiesta is going to use a lot of different things here. First off, they're going to use the Inkjet Blaster. Inkjet works out really well here, and Tri-Slosher to make sure that they can use Soda. But there's a little bit of a change on Fiesta's side of things.
Yeah, they're going to be using the same weapon as well, too, the Inkjet Blaster as well. Sticking with the Splash and still having the Gray Zap as well. So, again, not exactly mirrored comp, but, you know, really the big difference here on the side is going to be the Tri-Slosher versus the Dualies, or Tri-Slosher versus the Wiper. So we'll see how those two go hand in hand with each other. But right now, CometX able to hold on to the zone, getting that early lead, still holding on. It looks like it will be contested a little bit by Fiesta, but CometX still quick to recap it. And look at this Wiper player already pushed up on the side, trying to find opportunities that they can poke through. And here comes the Inkjet up on the other side as well, pincering in on some of these Fiesta players. But unfortunately for CometX, it's not going to work out. They are going to go down 2 players in a delayed almost a delayed wipe there, as Fiesta is going to be able to take this back in, getting CometX down to 50.
Here we go. Just 1 minute has gone by, and already CometX is halfway to their goal, and they got control of the zone. Yet again, Fiesta has to burn so many resources just to get back into the middle of things. They're really struggling to establish control of anything at this point. Right now, CometX staying alive, controlling both stacks. It seems like at some points right here, the Dualies trying to make something happen here. And finally, they do wrestle the zone back to their favor, getting a couple of splats.
Yeah, they're doing a really good job, I think, having this player advantage. This isn't something that they've really had this entire set, not having a 2, maybe 3 members down on CometX. So let's see what they can do in the start of this lockout phase. But we're going to see a pretty nice flank here from CometX. It's going to be the Wiper comes out with the Stamp. Unfortunately for them, they're going to go down, but can Fiesta hold on enough to take the lead? Yes, they can. Barely doing it, and we're going to see an Inkjet versus Inkjet battle, something we love to see, but CometX back in control of this zone. Still have quite a few penalty points they need to get through.
A dogfight at the grocery store. By the way, just a 1-point difference here. CometX will likely take the lead right back, but still, this is another opportunity for Fiesta to be right in it. Can they just close out these games, though? That's the difficulty they've been having the last couple of times. And okay, just realizing every square inch of the map that can be used to your advantage. Again, that's not like a groundbreaking moves that we're seeing here. Players going on rails in like the little catwalk areas over there, but still, it's consistently using it and using it effectively. That's something we're not used to seeing.
No, not at all. And then especially kind of the 180, and I know it's a blaster and it has a pretty big indirect radius, but you had no room for error in that scenario for the blaster player on CometX who's able to stay alive. And now Fiesta still able to hold on. They did take the lead back a little bit a while ago, still holding on to this zone as they're going to get past almost the 10-point mark. But no, it's not going to be enough. Now it's going to be capped by Fiesta. And CometX trying one more opportunity for them to break in, but not having a player advantage. It is not going to be enough time. So everybody has officially lost a game in this tournament, Popgun. And everyone's done it. No clean sweeps for anybody, but Fiesta is on the board here, winning game 3.
A tournament of losers all around as Fiesta finally gets to show off their little dance moves and gets their first win here on the stream. By the way, Fiesta has lost a game in the past 3 sets that they played. So they've found ways to bounce back. I mean, I don't know if they've been down 0-1, but they've been playing these longer sets so far than any of these other teams have up to this point. So they know this one isn't over yet. Nicely job by their part there of finding ways to close things out. They got control of the zone halfway through there and just completely rode it all the way out to the end. Now, okay, so here's the real question is, what are the counter pick rules for this thing? Is it like the standard can't go back to map and mode you've won on kind of thing?
I believe so. Somebody in our ear can tell us if they want to tell us, or send us the link to where it's going to be. Yeah. So a team cannot choose a mode that they have already won during the set. A map mode combination can only be played once per set, and a team has a maximum of 1 minute to select a counter pick, which they've been seeming to do pretty well. But yeah. So it's those. I think it's pretty much our traditional modes. But the maps can repeat. It seems like. But
yeah, but
can't be the different mode. Yeah.
You can't pick a map mode you've lost on. So like if they wanted to go back to Scorch, Clam Blitz, they can't do that because it's been played in the set. Period.
Yes.
Not that I think they would want it to do that. In fact, what is this? Game 3 is now Game 4 is. Yeah, here we go. Okay, was that the official counter pick that we saw on stream, or are you just trolling with me? Nope, that's the official counter pick. They go right there. Tower Control Art Academy. There it is!
There it is.
There it is!
It's what we know and love. And hey, it's great that it's not just a North American thing. It's not just a Europe thing. It's stretching all across the world as a counter pick that we like to see. And we've always heard and been told and saw that typically Japan loves to play splat zones. A lot of splat zones only tournaments in there. And based on the first two matches match 2 and 3 that we saw, I wasn't going to be surprised if it was always going to be zones. But guess what? Both teams won on zones. We can't choose it. So
illegal.
It's illegal. So we're going back to the next best option, which I guess is going to be Tower Control Inkling.
Well, of course, it's not the next best. It's the only best option to go with the counter pick. This could have been CometX's counter pick all along. Keep in mind, this is their first time making a counter pick all weekend. So
true. Very true.
Also, shout out. I think I just said how hot it was in my room, and then instantly the AC kicked on. I think my wife is listening to this downstairs and has just turned on the AC. It feels amazing in here, if that is the case. Or I could just be talking to no one. Oh, here we go. Rapid Pro versus Rapid Pro, the classic matchup of that. Look at the build on Odin, though. A main of Ink's Subsaver and quick super jump.
Yeah, something, Subsaver, not something we typically see for that specific weapon, but yeah, it'll be interesting. And again, really no changes on these comps. We are going to go back to the Stamper for CometX. I believe they had Wiper before, and that's going to be a really nice double there for one of the members on CometX, as 2 members on Fiesta are going to go down. But hey, they believe they were juiced up too and ready to go, so they're going to get that quick respawn as well. So yeah, right now Comet is going to be trying to get past his first checkpoint, but they had to hop off due to the Bazooka and the Crab. So Fiesta all over guarding that checkpoint, but the Zipcaster coming in causing a distraction. It's going to really help CometX kind of get through that as they try to contest, but no, a lot of the players are still going down. That was a very long first checkpoint push that they tried to do.
Brand likes to use Rapid Pro here on this map and mode as well. And I feel like if you could just use it in conjunction, like we saw Odin do on the right stack there, with somebody else attacking those 2 players, again, the chip damage combined with other players fighting can lead to positive things, which is this extended push that CometX is pushing out right now. There should be a pincer onto the tower. Oh, could they have cleared that? They came really close to clearing that if they just stayed on. Oh, no, they still had halfway to go. Still.
It looked really close. No, yeah. it looked really close. But yeah, still a very good push there for CometX as they're trying to push forward once again. Really not letting go any of the pressures that they had before. 3 are going to go down now in CometX, though. So Fiesta's opportunity, of course, they do have a point. Now, is that a real point? I don't know, or more of we touched the tower on accident to get a point. But this is where we're really going to see them on the offensive side of things as they're trying to push up. We're going to see the help of the Crab here up on top of the wall with the ramp. And they're going to breeze through this first checkpoint, seemingly uncontested, and then some. A lot of the pressure here on the enemy plat, as it looks like they might be in a position to take the lead with 2 members down in CometX.
Yeah, I think they're going to find a way to do just that. Unless this Zipcaster does something crazy. But if you're CometX, you want to just eat your losses right now and make sure that you can save this 3rd checkpoint, because you got a pretty good situation on the offensive side of things, as they do just that. They keep all their players alive, keep their specials, and now they got an opportunity to get back control of mid. Look, you just got Nish now crossed the halfway point. You're just 1 checkpoint away from tying up this thing. No need to go in there. Surrender that 2nd checkpoint, live to fight another day.
Yeah, there's no, again, because like from some point, like from checkpoint 2 and 3, if you give up some points, that's fine. You just need to make sure that you're regrouping, and like it's fine if you give up a few points. You don't really need it. Like you said, CometX in that situation needed to just kind of regroup, not really feed anymore, you know, just kind of play things a little bit more carefully. And that's really working out for them. They were able to push it almost to that second checkpoint once again. But again, Fiesta is doing a very good job getting a lot of paint around the tower. I think that's really important, and that's going to make it difficult for CometX members to just kind of sneak up on the tower when members of Fiesta aren't paying attention. So this is a very good situation for Fiesta right now, especially with 2 members down on CometX, and it looks like they might be in a position to try and push this forward once again.
Now, minute 30 left to go. The tower slowly working its way back into mid, but Fiesta, at this point, it's a question of, do we want to keep riding this tower? I think the answer is yes. Regardless of what you do, you want to make sure you got the tower on the enemy side of the map. But do you want to burn all your resources trying to add to the lead? The answer is no. I think you just want to try to make sure you can bleed more time off the clock. That second checkpoint, it's just a 1 checkpoint lead, but that second checkpoint is so difficult to get across. And what you want to make sure is you've got enough resources to hold onto it, which is what CometX is going to be trying to take a stab at right now. One player instantly going down for Fiesta as we see CometX trying to control those key spaces they need to make sure they can get across the second checkpoint.
Yeah, they're going to be really trying to do that. And again, they are in a good position, but not when the Zuka's coming out and you take down the Crab too. That's going to be a really nice Zuka shot on the side of Fiesta for these last 30 seconds. So that may have been the opportunity for CometX. And again, they do have a little bit of time to just kind of build up some of their specials once again. Again, a little over 20 seconds. But we're going to see special after special come out from Fiesta. And that's going to make it very difficult, especially with this tower now slowly being pushed back to mid. So Fiesta playing this very carefully, just using the specials and waiting for opportunities to strike in. But let's see if CometX can do something in these last 3 seconds. 2 members are going to be down, and it looks like they're going to be going into overtime in a 2v2 scenario. The Crab is the only one on the tower and stays alive. They are going to get some jumps in as well, but that is going to be the wipeout. And Fiesta, man, keeping us on our toes in those finals moments. But yeah, waiting out the specials. Fiesta winning the game, bringing us into a game 5.
The Crab had 2 choices that they could make there. I could either take the fight against the Slosher, where if they arc the shots, they're probably going to splat me, or I can just roll around in my little ball and create jumps for my teammates. And that, you know, it's hard to make the right decision in that time. Both options could have been the losing play. You don't really know, but still, credit to Fiesta for being down 2-0 to bounce back and get the one necessary push that they needed in that game to give them the huge lead, and then not to blow it, not to, oh, let's burn all our resources to try to add to our lead. Let's make sure that we got things where we can hold down on the defensive side. Let's bleed out the clock, and let's push this one to a game 5.
Speaking of Game 5, that is what's happening over on the side on Dapples as well. FTWin and Jackpot in their 5th game right now. So we have all the action here on both of these streams. It is up in the air for both of these teams. They're a little bit ahead of us. They're in the middle of their Game 5, where we, as for us, we're waiting on the counter pick that will be coming out from CometX.
Both semifinals go into a game 5. Hey, we're playing competitive Splatoon today, baby. We got some parity going on here. We got some action. It's an exciting time to be watching some competitive Splatoon action here, as far as our things are concerned. Watching some more highlights. By the way, shout out to whoever created all these highlights.
That's
right
Jorian's doing all this. He actually did a lot of this too for Ludi Tonight last night. Just all these highlights. So yeah, shout out to Jorian for compiling all that information and getting it to us. Really cool. We love good production here on IPL.
Are we going to see Rainmaker come out at this point? Keep in mind, you can't pick. So this is CometX making the counter pick. You can't pick clams. You can't pick splat zones because you won on both of them. You just lost on Tower Control Art Academy. And no, you can't pick Tower Control Art Academy again because the rules say you can't repeat a mode even if you haven't won on it. So we can 100% confirm that won't be picked yet again. But do you try the one mode we haven't done up to this point, which is Rainmaker? Actually, we do have a counter pick in? I can't see it. Is it Rainmaker Undertow?
It is
Yes.
Rainmaker Undertow here that we're going to. You're right.
Or Hagglefish Light, as we like to call it.
Hagglefish Light, Hagglefish, yeah. But yeah, so like we said, you can't choose a map mode combo that has been played at all, and you can't choose a mode that you have previously won on. So yeah, options a little bit limited here. I mean, of course, you could choose a tower control that isn't Inkblot or any Rainmaker map as well. So yeah, this is going to be seemingly the next best option. And hey, we saw a really good set here when FTWin played. So I'm looking forward to this game, and we've seen a lot of great things. But I think with these two teams in particular, they just do so well in their 4v4s and being patient. They do so well just waiting out, getting a feel for what they need to do and knowing when to strike forward. And really nothing super crazy yet, other than, like you said, utilizing every inch that you possibly need to kind of stay alive. Like going back to that Scorch match where you just saw the player just like jump up on the ledge to like, well, I'm going to be here just because that's the only place I can go. So again, with this map being very, very large, a lot of space to be covered, and I think we're going to be seeing a lot of specials happen on this match too.
I wonder if we're going to see the vacuum come back out here as well. We saw that in game 1. We saw Prestige use it against FTWin to some effect, even though they lost on the same exact map mode as well. So I wonder if that's going to come back out, and they're going to try to find a way to guide the Rainmaker in with that vacuum here. As we now go into game 5, winner has a date against FTWin, who just beat Jackpot in winners finals. And there is the vacuum, I believe, from CometX on Odin. And there's a Kraken coming back out from the side of Fiesta. We kind of got back to our roots in game 1 here.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to seeing it, especially with how this vac is used. You know, we saw the push of the vac trying to take that right checkpoint early on. We will see if CometX will be the ones following suit with that. But right now, early Zuka is going to be coming out on the side of Fiesta as they're trying to get a little bit more map control here. Specials on line 2 for CometX. It's going to be the Crab that's going to be the vac, but one member is going to be down on CometX. Again, doing such a good job just playing the patient game and relying on these specials that are going to be used. And nobody is seemingly wanting to try and pick up this Rainmaker just yet. The Jet Squatch was getting very close, but didn't find an opportunity to do so. And yeah, there is just a wonderful 4v4 stalemate here happening at mid.
Odin is just mowing people down with that the V-Jet. Again, he's got vacuum on it. Are they going to try to find a way to guide the Rainmaker in? But right now, it seems like Fiesta's doing a good job of slowly working their way back into mid. They're not getting any splats on top of it as well. It seems this CometX is just slowly surrendering space, and that's allowing time for these Ink Zukas and all these other specials to come to light. And now you got a Kraken on the 2 players that are stuck in an awkward situation as well. But what happened here? CometX tried to run away with the Rainmaker to slow it down, it looks like.
Yeah, they tried to do that, and it's always curious how you're going to use the Kraken on this stage, and seeing if you're going to help just like try and support the Rainmaker, if you're going to use it more as a defensive mechanism. But Fiesta's going to be getting that checkpoint, taking it on this left side, and it's going to be all CometX paint around the Rainmaker, and they're going to be opting to pick it up. They do have a decent control here at mid, so rather than just kind of letting it reset, they pick it up pretty quickly after it is popped, and they're going to be trying to get a push, but going down to the Zuka, some specials online for the side of CometX, but in a 2v2 scenario, it's going to be really hard to get this push going, knowing that Fiesta's spawn is not going to be super far from the Rainmaker.
If you just joined us from the Dapple Productions stream, we're tied 2-2, but Fiesta was down 0-2 at the start of this. Now they are looking down a reverse sweep as they've still got the lead technically here because they got to the podium first. They are going to pop the Rainmaker and reset things back into mid. They got a lot of specials to work with as well. It seems like they're grabbing the Rainmaker and going to try to find a way to start getting a push going here. But we do have Odin, who's been playing fantastic this entire set, getting this vacuum off in the mid and making sure that the Rainmaker went nowhere. That is a dangerous spot to die with the Rainmaker when you got the lead. That Splash is going to try to pick it up, but somebody's Crab is just raining down hell across of it. That is the worst spot you could die. And Odin! Odin almost got away with it. Almost got the lead there.
Almost got the lead. So close. This is a battle that, man, it is really, really tight. And of course, these are where the checkpoints were too. Both teams did break the checkpoints, so it's just a neutral game right now that's only going to be benefiting Fiesta right now if they can extend this lead, having to wait out some specials. But no, that's going to be a wipe. That is going to be huge. They are going to get to 55 and extend it just a little bit, but this is going to be CometX's first opportunity to really rely on their player advantage. The cooler is now going to be thrown, and players are going to be pushed up here on the side of Fiesta, and it looks like they're going to be opting to try and take it left. As we see, it's going to be the NZAP who is going to be trying to push over to the right. No, they're going to move to the right. Can they stay live in the vacuum? Yes, they can, and they take the lead, getting it down to 40. So CometX now in a very good position. Still, they don't have a player disadvantage yet. It's a 3v3. Now they're getting a player advantage. Can they take down this one member of Fiesta? Yes, they can. And CometX looking to extend their lead right now.
We call it Hagglefish Light for that very reason. That one push to the right gets you a lot of points quickly, but you've got to go closer to the enemy spawn to do so. But when you have the vacuum, it kind of mitigates that fact that you have to deal with. And look, they're still swarming in. They don't want that Rainmaker to move at all. They want to bleed time off the clock, and they want to make sure that Fiesta has to deal with the Rainmaker on that awkward, scary part of the map. Also, keep in mind, Fiesta is now losing, so they have to pick up this Rainmaker, stop the push completely, which it looks like they've finally been able to do, but now they're running out of time to try to get to 39 remaining.
Yeah, just about 35 seconds to make something work. 3 of their specials are going to be online. That's going to be the Crab, the Kraken, and the Trizuka. They're going to be using this Kraken right now, trying to take down the Vac. It took a long time for them to do that, but able to take down the Vac. That was all the effort of the Kraken. Look at this. Yes, they do have it, picking it up, opting to take it up this left side, going to try to avoid the Wiper, and the Kraken coming out. Can they do it in these last 10 seconds remaining? They're pushing a very, very tricky spot, and just one player alive to support them. Oh, my goodness. So close, and CometX is going to be moving on to our winners finals to face FTWin.
They avoid the reverse sweep by forcing the player to walk the plank into the water off the edge. Just keep throwing everything until there was nowhere left to go except for overboard. CometX winning 3-2, taking their first 2 losses of the entire weekend, are now going to be taking on FTWin, who won a Game 5 against Jackpot in winners finals.
Incredible showcase. We saw how dominant CometX was in Game 1, and Fiesta tried really hard in Game 2. But yes, Fiesta winning Games 3 and 4 with CometX coming back at these final moments. Again, if you are just tuning in and watched FTWin defeat Jackpot 3-2, these are two of our top teams from Japan going head-to-head in this game. A wonderful showcase. So really incredible for these two teams. But yes, CometX able to hold on, and we will be seeing them in our winners finals moment, or not on our stream, but later on in this tournament.
Yes, and I wouldn't be surprised if you saw well, we're probably going to see all 4 of these teams that were in the semifinals again at some point. Fiesta showed they were more than capable of being a team that can win this entire tournament with how they're played against CometX in this scenario here. And obviously Jackpot, we know how good they are in comparison. I'm going to go back and watch that VOD at some point of whatever happened in that set. But yeah, we got 4 teams here that seem to be right with each other, unless somebody blows somebody out in the winners finals. It looks like we're set for a good tournament as we approach the dramatic conclusion here at some point.
This was, we're going to have one more match coming up here on IPL. We're going to be hopping down into the elimination side of the bracket. I would imagine some sort of semifinal just based on where we are right now. But yeah, we will have that match coming up momentarily. We are going to be taking a quick break before we do that, but you guys do not go anywhere. We still have the losers quarters finals coming up, and it is going to be incredible. So once again, you guys stay tuned. You're watching day 2 of 20XX here on IPL. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to 20XX here on IPL. We are getting ready for our quarterfinal match here between it's going to be Alliance Rogue and Jackpot. But before that, a few more notes here. Again, you guys can still donate to 20XX. 75% of the donations will go towards the prize pool, 25% for our org. This is absolutely incredible, and we hope that you guys, if you can do it, it's really incredible and it's wonderful to give back to our organizations here as we put on this tournament for you guys. And we know that you want to see a lot of these tournaments happen in the future, especially at this caliber of productions. So make sure you go to paypal.com/paypalme/20xxsplat to donate.
And whatever money you don't spend on donating to this fantastic event, you can use to buy a plane ticket to Breeze in the UK, a land that's going to be taking place on November 25th and 26th. You can scan the QR code there for more information. I believe already 300 plus players have confirmed to be going for this event. It is going to be awesome and rowdy, and one of the not the first, but one of the biggest EU lands to come back in the post-pandemic era. So it's good to see things getting back to normal finally 3 years later. But make sure you support this event, and if you can't go, make sure to watch it. I know there's a lot of great football going on Thanksgiving weekend, but nothing comes close to hype land competitive Splatoon moments. Make sure to check that out.
And Splatoon Stronghold is one of your best central hubs to find all things Splatoon and competitive information. It is a hub. I've explored this Discord and their website a lot. There's a lot of effort that Samino and a lot of people have put into it. So if you are wondering, how to get into competitive, what resources I can use, what videos, like there's links to everything on Splatoon Stronghold. So be sure to check out their website at splatoonstronghold.com. Twitter page is Splatstrong, and their Discord server Splatstrong as well. Hey, speaking of great competitive Splatoon, well, football's going on right now, and we're not watching it, but we just saw two amazing Game 5s happen here on Dapples and on IPL, and right now we are watching one of the teams that was over there on Dapple, Jackpot, unfortunately for them, going down, but are going to be facing a very tough Alliance Rogue team. Now, okay, Popgun, is this a match you would expect to see in a quarterfinal losers bracket?
No.
Mm-mm. Just no.
No. The answer is no.
No.
What is this, the number 1 and 2 seed, actually? Like, officially? I think it is.
It's crazy that we're seeing them. And one of these teams, if they lose, they're out of the tournament. Their run is done. The other's going to be trying to keep their hopes up alive. So again, this is a winners finals caliber type of matchup, but we have the pleasure of showing it to you guys here. The stakes are high for both of these teams. Again, keeping the format the same, it is going to be a best of 5. So we will be starting off on Tower Control, I believe Tower Control Macamart, for our first game here, as these teams are getting ready and getting into the lobby.
I talked to Baja Blast on my stream on Friday. Shout outs to the podcast. They said they feel like Jackpot was going to win this tournament, but they were going to have to do it from the loser side of the bracket. Well, they have an opportunity to do just that. And the good news for them, as you alluded to, it's not best of 3 like we typically see losers brackets be. It is best of 5. So it's not we got O2 cheese or something like that. You got a full meaty set here to go through. And they have to do it against their EU rival, Alliance Rogue. The team they had to beat to win the Ink TV Resurgence League earlier this year. Obviously, both teams have grown a lot since then. Alliance Rogue has submitted Volty as their official 4th member, and Jackpot has been ripping everybody to shreds since then. Now, yes, I believe Alliance Rogue is the number 2 seed. This is their 3rd straight losers match, so they've been down here in losers for quite a while.
Yeah, and that's again who knocked them out to move on.
It was Comet.
It was okay, yeah, it was Comet. It was Comet there. Yeah, we can see part of the losers bracket here. It's a little bit cut off on our side, but yeah, you can kind of see see where they went down. They did have to defeat Moonlight to get there, yeah, Comet, you can't see Comet because obviously they weren't in the losers bracket at this point. But yeah, Moonlight able to take a game off of them. But yeah, that means Moonlight is done as well. And yeah, that's a pretty good run. Of course, Alliance Rogue, a team you don't expect that would be in the losers bracket that early on. But when you have a team such as Comet, who, as we saw firsthand, were able to move their way and deserves a spot in the winners finals, very impressive for them. So yeah, we will be getting started with this set very shortly. And I think, obviously, I don't remember the last time these two teams played each other in a major or at any high-level tournament in particular, but we both Alliance Rogue has been around forever. Like
they're very familiar with each other. Both
yeah, like
these
let's
teams are.
yeah, it's like even if we don't know off the top of our heads the last time they faced each other, it's they know what they're getting themselves into. So
I would assume they've had a tourney set since the ETV League, but they definitely have been, I would assume, have been scrimming against each other, just because when you're at the level that they're at, there's only a handful of teams you can practice against to keep fresh anyways here. And, well, I don't know who Smiley Face is, so I guess it's a guessing game with that. But regardless, we're going to be playing here. And there is Rapid Blaster Pro from Scar. Yet again, Smiley Face must be Urza? Gray. That's
Gray. Yeah, it's going to be Gray, yeah. And again, we're going to see the pencil come back out again from the side of Jackpot, which is what we expected. And of course, we don't know if these are the same comps that they ran over when they faced FTWin and brought them to a Game 5, but really, Jackpot is doing such a good job getting an early push as two members of Alliance Rogue are going to be going down. And look at this. It's going to be, yeah, that's going to be Gray there, just doing everything they can to stay alive. It's amazing the maneuverability that some players have, especially with like a weapon like Zap, and he can just like fly across the map. So doing a great job, but yeah, not able to really benefit any points from that. But yeah, now it's a very neutral game with Alliance Rogue still trying to find an opportunity to break back in the mid.
Yeah, you can do some fancy things, but the problem is you're shooting at the ground. You can't shoot anybody that's trying to kill you, so staying alive just as a target here, but Jackpot able to get control of the tower with .Q watching over things. Madness just kind of riding the tower right here, and they should clear this first checkpoint with ease. And trying to get the pick here on a couple of those players that can build up an Inkzuka strike that could be coming down from either Kiver here on the vanilla shot or Volti's Carbon Roller. Regardless, they're just going to get the splat with the main weapons right here. Jared is going to get one player, maybe two with this grab, because there's no Inkzukas ready to counter that grab. So damage done. Jackpot does clear one checkpoint. Doesn't really get anything else on top of that, but they are still at least making it difficult for Alliance Rogue to get back into control of mid.
Yeah, all the attention was on Jared at that moment. We saw that they splatted two, but then there was the Inkjet and the other member, I believe that was Carbon, who was waiting to just try and splat them. So that's really what helped Jackpot kind of get their footing back together into mid. Especially when you can bring all the attention onto one player. That they're doing such a good job being a distraction. But now Alliance Rogue able to get past their first checkpoint, waiting for an opportunity to get back on, and they are able to take the lead. A lot of their members are targeted right now and can start take them down. Yes, taking down Jared. That's going to be a really nice pick here, as it looks like that's going to be Kiver using the Zuka, able to maybe get a trade there as well. But this tower is still being pushed by Alliance Rogue. So again, they are keeping up the pressure, and I think it's to be staggered specials by Alliance Rogue. Once one is done, the other comes out. And that is really what's helping them push past almost to this 54 mark and then some.
Well, you got a player like Volti on your team, and you're playing on a map like this, which is so great for Carbon Rollers. As long as that player is left alive, you're going to be in a great situation to accomplish pretty much anything you want to. This is a very drawn... Oh, come on! Oh, come on! Really?
Yeah, it wasn't a triple. One of those members was left over from a spec game, but it was a really nice double.
Oh, okay.
It was yeah, no, for real. Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, yeah. But no, that was a really, really good double. But Alliance Rogue's still doing such a good job keeping up this pressure and keeping up mid. We're going to see the battle of Zukas come out as well. And again, if you're Jackpot, it's hard to find your footing here, especially with a member like Volti, who's just going to be scrambling all over the map. You talked about how good of a map this is for rollers, and like Carbon Rollers in particular, and you have one of the best Carbon Rollers in the world playing this game.
And you also got that Rapid Blaster the Rapid Blaster Pro or Deco that you got here that you can use with the Inkjet and also combine chip damage. And now they're really gonna have to rely on it because it's the last player left alive. Also, keep in mind, as awesome as that last push was by Alliance Rogue, they didn't even get to the second checkpoint. So there's still not a comfortable situation for them to be in, as Jackpot is slowly working that tower down. They don't have control of that right stack, though. It looks like they do just that by getting a splatter on the player. They should get the lead right here. Slowly but surely, they find a way to do just that.
Yeah, and it was just, I believe that was just Gray who was alive, so that was really nice for Jackpot just picking up on that opportunity to try and take the lead, and they're doing a really good job. It is just going to be Star who's alive in the back here, and a lot of bombs are being thrown towards them as well. So Jackpot picking up exactly where they left off. Unfortunately for them, they still have a little bit of time to go on the second checkpoint, but they get past it and are pushing through. 2 members are going to be down, and they are down to 31 with about 20 seconds remaining. So again, you have really no time to waste if you're Alliance Rogue. You can't really afford trades at this moment, and you are doing a good job getting some map control, winning some of these 1v1s, so this is where you really need to get a coordinated push going.
And do they have all the resources they need to get things going? They lose their in-zap, so there's not going to be any soda on the board. Losing too many players. Jackpot getting the one push they need in the closing minute to make sure that they can hold on in the final seconds, and they take game 1.
Yeah, that was a really good comeback there for Jackpot. Of course, a little stalemate at the beginning, but I think when Jackpot were able to just get some really nice picks and just make Alliance Rogue staggered. If you can make them staggered and you have an eye on Volti pretty much the entire time, it's going to make your job a lot easier to push forward and get past those checkpoints. And we saw Jackpot and Alliance Rogue, none of the checkpoints were easy for them. There were many opportunities, many times where both players from both teams had to just hop off the tower, wait for somebody to use their specials, then hop back on. So a lot of these pushes were a little slow and steady. But yes, Jackpot able to just capitalize on that whenever 3 members were down, like right here towards the beginning of the match to get the ball rolling first. And then it happened later on in the set. I'm sure we'll see replay for it too. But yeah, a very good win there for Jackpot.
Another thing I didn't really think about until just now, you're talking about locating Volti. They are using Neo Machine, and they do like to use point sensor on roller players. I know they were making sure Omega was point censored the entire time that they were playing them in the Idol set that they played in third place match last weekend. So that's something else they kind of use to keep in mind. But when they lose track of Volti, again, you see what happens. I think you might see a nice highlight coming up in a few seconds of Volti just ripping apart players for seemingly no penalty coming at their own way. But ultimately, when they do take care of that and they slowly work their way down, Jackpot was doing just fine.
Yeah, they did do a really good job. Yeah, it's going to be right here. Yep, so there's the 1-2. Yeah, so the first one was Gray that, went down from the previous pick. But yeah, again, you're going to have to rely on those point sensors because I don't know what you're going to do against Volti if you don't have eyes on them the entire time. Like we mentioned this a few days ago when we were commentating together, you can hide in a slither of ink that is smaller than your squid form sometimes.
Oh, it's so dumb.
So,
yeah.
You can use that towards your advantage anytime, but especially if you're a strong player like Volti, who's going to rely on those sharks to push forward. So really impressive, and we are going back now to to Hagglefish Light, which is going to be Undertow Rainmaker.
Hagglefish, diet Hagglefish, maybe caffeine-free Hagglefish.
Diet caffeine-free Hagglefish, yes.
I think we're the only ones who actually, everyone's like, there's not even close to being that kind of comparison. Who are you guys talking about? Who cares? You know what? This is a map mode. Okay, so this is the quintessential Tower Control Art Academy pick at this point. It seems like you got to pick Splat Zones Mako, Rainmaker and Undertow, and Tower Control Art Academy. Like, those are the only options to go. Oh, Clam Scorch. But we just saw a Clams game, so we might not see that one coming down in the future. Scar going to the ballpoint. to give them a little bit more range. Still got the double Zuka coming out from the Lion's Robe to keep with that Inkjet. So they're still going to keep the same specials, just changing, I think, just one weapon in particular. By the way, that should be Leafy on the Stamper. And it is.
Yeah, Leafy's going to be using the Stamper. Dr. Q's going to be on the Pencil. Dare to Madness on the same weapons that we are used to from them. So, yeah, a little bit of change up for both of these teams as they're just kind of trying to get a feel from each other. Cooler's going to come out pretty early, and 2 members on Jackpot are going to be going down rather quickly as well as Alliance Rogue getting some nice key picks, but not in a good position to pick up the Rainmaker just yet. It looks like one of the players are now going to get it, but trying to avoid some of these Zuka shots, going to be trying to push it over towards the left side as it looks like the Zipcaster from Leafy is going to be coming out, but they're going to be taken down. So really good job by Volty for just keeping an eye out for any possible movement coming towards the Rainmaker and keeping their members alive. And Alliance Rogue, even though they got spotted, they are still trying to get this push going.
Trying to find a way to get up that left side. Jackpot being very stingy, throwing a lot of specials at the way, but they lost track of the one player they couldn't lose track of. Volty getting a double right there, ultimately getting cleaned up. And oh, by the way, while all that nonsense is going on, they still haven't cleared the pedestal, and they still have it. Jared getting the splat on the other side, and is this push going to be over? It looks like it is, seemingly for now. And if you don't clear a checkpoint, your push basically amounted to nothing. So a minute and a half gone by, a lot of action, and technically something on the scoreboard, but it's still a tied game.
Yeah, it's still a tied game at this moment, but yeah, look at all the specials online too, like you said. But Jackpot now going to be picking up for the first time again. You're going to have to avoid this Inkjet from Scar, and it looks like Leafy is on it. Leafy was able to just, be in the middle and just making sure that their Rainmaker was protected, but somebody else is going to be taking down the Rainmaker. So Alliance Rogue going to be trying this one more time to pick it up. They are going to be regrouping here in mid, and Volty is waiting. We do see a jump there. I can't see which member that was who was in a position where they're just like, nope, I need to move. But look at this Leafy trying to go up, and it looks like they are going to be trading, but that was, oh my goodness. We talked about Volty being sneaky on the side of Alliance Rogue, but it's Leafy for Jackpot who's really been tearing up the storm.
You might know everything I'm going to do, but that's not going to help you because I know everything you're going to do. And that isn't that strange, isn't it? Considering they went to the right side while all the attention was on the left, getting that checkpoint. Again, I'll say it again. Why do we not see more of that? The checkpoint's right there. You don't have to continue to push that way. But now you don't have that awkward spot. Okay, now we got to, like, what Jackpot's going to have to do is awkwardly try to find a way to get through this second checkpoint. It's already cleared on the right side for Alliance Rogue.
Yeah, and I don't know.
They're still not going to get it.
Yeah, and I don't know if Jackpot just doesn't want to take it to the right because they know that they won't have any forward movement from there. So they're trying to play the long game of, okay, like, I know it's going to take a little bit longer, but if we can win these 1v1s and have a coordinated push, maybe it will work. But you're right. You're right. It's a lot easier to just get that first checkpoint on the right side, but it's so much harder to follow up. Again, that's why we call it Hagglefish Light for that specific reason. But
maybe it's not so easy considering it's right next to the spawn. But when when you lull your opponent to sleep to defending the left side, it eventually opens up that right side. That's where I'm like, why don't more teams take advantage of that once they finally open it up there? Right now, Jackpot's going to have to do something. They are going for it because it is there. They tie it up, and they don't have to do a lot to get lead. Oh, but Jared's crab is done.
Yeah, Jared's crap is done, and 2 of their members are down. Oh, yeah, yep, it is. Yeah, it's just going to be the splash. But who's staying alive? Jared's still doing a good job just maneuvering this map. Going to be jumping out right now, but Alliance Rogue is going to be picking up the Rainmaker. A minute left. They're going to have to watch Doc Q with the pencil here, just waiting for an opportunity. Ooh, that's going to be a really nice pick by Madness onto Piver, and it is just going to be the Rainmaker, but Volty's coming up and getting a nice pick there. And this is a very good push for Alliance Rogue, getting it to the middle of the slick ramp here, getting it to 29. So once again, an uphill battle for Jackpot if they want to try and contest, but hey, anything is possible in this game.
Let's keep that. Oh, okay. Squid bagging to dodge some shots to make sure to add to their lead right there. That could pay off huge dividends down the road. We'll find out in the next 20 seconds. So to get lead for Jackpot, if they go that same route, they basically have to get halfway up the uninkable. But right now, they need to grab the Rainmaker. Or let it reset. Now they got the man advantage in mid-control, so they'll be able to pop it and grab it in time. but they'll have to get just slightly past halfway or if they opt to go to that left side, which, well, first step 1 is dealing with Volti. All right, step 1 accomplished.
Yeah,
step
but
2, get some specials.
Volti's going to be step 4 and step 7 too. So
That's
you
right.
you just got to be aware. Like every other step is going to be a Volti step. But yeah, Doc Q's the one carrying the Rainmaker, and it looks like members of the line, so just kind of building up these specials. And here's Volti pushing forward. We mentioned this kid's 1, he gets 2, but it's going to go down. So now it's just going to be Doc Q forced to back up with some of these Trizuka shots and staying alive through all 3 of them. 2 jumps coming in. Doc Q doing a good job waiting for the jumps to push up. Leafy's going to be trying to support them as well. Not a lot of time left on the Rainmaker with about 20 seconds, so we're going to need to get a little bit more going here. But with more of these specials coming out and locating, yeah, this is going to be really tough. I think Doc Q's going to be in a really struggle position here as they're still alive, but man, what a crazy ending.
That's what it takes to beat Jackpot. You just kind of splat them 20 times in a row, and ultimately they go down. Alliance Rogue, avoiding going down 0-2 in this set, ties it up at 1 apiece on their counter pick. Nicely done by them.
Yeah, that was a really good win. You know, okay, breaking down, you know, when to push left, when to push right. You're right. It took a while for both teams to just kind of say, you know what, we're going to get the early check, we're going to get the quick checkpoint and take it to the right. And it worked. You know, it really worked out, especially for Alliance Rogue, because they were able then to push it on the left side later on and continue to continue to get a good push. But yeah, it just, I don't know. That was a very, very tough match for Jackpot. And I think, too, it was all, you know, obviously a team effort. But with Volti, when you can't identify where Volti is on the map, that is going to be really hard. And Volti, I think, did a very good job working from behind, kind of like, you know, always on the flank, always taking out members when it's a little too late. Like, when you see Volti, it's too late. You're going to get splatted. You can call out where Volti is, but just know that when you see them, you're already going to be splatted.
Exactly. And you know, I don't think this was much of a factor, but they didn't have point sensor this time around. And it's not like they couldn't find Volti. It's just, like you said, by the time they jump up in their face, they get like 2 or 3 swats at you, and you're just not in this position to where you can land the shots you need to kind of mow them down. But again, and that's if Jared still had their crab active right there, they probably popped that, and they, you know, it wouldn't change like the final outcome because Alliance Rogue scored so many points. But still, there's a difference between playing with a lead and playing to try to get back the lead. So there's like little moments here and there that you can kind of look back at. This was another great defensive moment. Madness being the last player left alive, slowing down this push, even though this was ultimately the point. With all the madness going on, there's Volti going up and getting a nice double, opening the way for them to get more points here. Look at the squid bag.
Hey, like, okay,
Tactical.
is that are you doing that because maybe it gives me any sort of leverage by going in squid form, or you're just doing it to be silly? I mean, like,
no,
yeah, like
you're definitely trying to like
throw them off like a little
bit. You're like trying to matrix through their bullets to some extent. Is what you're doing.
You're strafing on inkable turf.
Right.
Essentially, you're trying to at least. But hey, we have our counter pick. Says Zahi. Splat zones Mahi. Zahi. Bringing it back here.
I think we're gonna see Tent here. Actually.
You think we're gonna see Tent?
I watched when we went off stream, or we took a break. I looked at Twitter. I think Leafy used Tent and Kyo used Kraken, and Kyo tried to use Kraken through the tent and ended up falling down through the map.
Yep,
and there's Leafy's tent. So Kraken might just be broken here. Oh, by the way, that is Jared's super chumps making their appearance here in the major of the tournament.
Yeah, super chumps and beacons. And look, like when this floor drops, there's a lot of space for beacons to really thrive. You know, early on I don't really know how practical it's going to be, but Alliance Rogue quickly to get that delayed. Actually, the wipe, and Leafy is going to be the first one back in, trying to push. Not even pushing with the tent, using it as a little bit of a distraction to try and get a flank. And honestly, for a wipeout, Alliance Rogue did not hold on to that zone for very long, because Jackpot was quick to get back into here and are able to cap it, only allowing Alliance Rogue getting to 84. So that was a really good response.
I think what both teams are just waiting for is, let's just make sure we can lower this map and then we can actually start playing the game. So, hey, Jackpot's got to be the team to do it. So be it. We'll let them get down to, what is it, 60, and then it drops? I think that's the actual score there. But still, Alliance Rogue, I was going to say building up their specials, but they just lost their Zipcaster before it even got fired here. As we see Jackpot applying a lot of pressure. Jared starting to push up, ultimately getting a couple of players down. The Stars popping this Inkjet by themselves, essentially. Got to force some players from Jackpot to back up a little bit, but isn't going to get the splats that they're necessarily looking for to try to stop this push.
Yeah, and that was a wonderful, wonderful opening start there for Jackpot. And you're right, Alliance Rogue's trying to break back in, and they're able to cap the zone for a little bit. But hey, 3 of their members going to go down. That's actually going to be a delayed wipe as well. So Jackpot just trying to pick up exactly where they left off. And, you know, now they're being patient. Jackpot's being really patient. Jared, you know, just trying to poke over on the right side, finding any opportunity that Alliance Rogue might be pushing in, and it's going to be really hard for Alliance Rogue, too. You know, they've been able to build up some specials, but some of the specials that they're using haven't really been coming into handy. We'll see if Scar can make anything work with this Inkjet. Able to get one. Will it be enough for their exhaust to help cap the zone? And it's not going to be. So Jackpot, once again, able to take control of the zone. I think what was really important is just not getting any penalty points from that, not allowing Alliance Rogue to touch it at all. And now Jackpot in a very, very good position to finish
we're
out
done
that.
here. Yeah, we're done here. This is moving on to game 4. Jackpot, once the map lowered and the game actually started, took control and didn't really look back, as they're able to bump up their lead to 2-1. As we're just in the losers quarterfinals, by the way. This is again Jackpot versus AR in losers quarterfinals, kind of crazy. So the CDS that's being used, Super Chump. Super Chump, when it first came out, was like, okay, this is the worst special known to mankind. It's got buffed slightly, but I think one of the reasons why Super Chump just not that good is because we don't really know how to maximize what it is. I think we're so used to a special just being, I fire it on this area and that all of a sudden that area is just ours, or like everybody that's staying in that area is dying. And that's not what Super Chump is. It's more of like a distraction kind of thing. And I feel like if it got used more, people would start coming up with ways like, okay, let's fire it to where somebody's jumping, so where they're actually being hidden to where they can do things. But more so what you saw it being used for there, Jared using it towards the end on the plat area where Madness, right here, where Madness was going to fight. So I don't think that really hindered things, but still, okay, I got to deal with Madness that's coming at me, but at the same time, I got to get away from all these super chumps that are going to explode, and now that they're buffed, they're actually going to damage me. So it's more of like it's just how you think about using the special is how you're going to get more value out of it versus how we always use specials, which is just me fire it on this area and hopefully people die.
Yeah, and it is, you're right, it is something like chumps in particular we don't see often, really at all, really to any level of Splatoon. So seeing how they're going to be utilized, you know, I guess it makes sense that if anything it would be for a map and mode that we don't really see very often too, just to kind of experiment. And you know, obviously they won with it, so I can't be critical of it either. So
well,
but who might have judged?
My assumption is the beacons were more important than the super chump.
Right, right.
And that weapon good as well. And it's not like specifically, you know, the VDS with Wavebreaker. I don't. When's the last time we even saw Wavebreaker being used at all?
We saw it today. We saw it today. Yeah,
what
we
weapon?
saw it. It was on the. It was on Sendo's Range Blaster.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
but like 3.5 hours ago,
Right.
or 2.5 hours ago, I guess. But it has been a long time. It's been a long time. But yes, we do have the counter pick, and it is going to be Clan Blitz on Museum d'Alfonsino, and we haven't seen Museum yet today. So getting all 4 modes early on, love to see it. Love me some Museum. Get your passes ready. We're going to be heading there right now.
How come they didn't pick Art Academy?
That's a good question.
Or Gorge? Yeah, like, I mean, this is a good map and mode. I think generally people kind of believe that, but still, this doesn't fit the script of what we've been going with, and neither does the comp that they're using right there. Is that the that is Storm Spam coming out from Scar with the C-Jet. All right.
Yeah, a lot of good places to cover, especially I think on the places that, you know, if you there's just a lot of height on this stage too, especially up on the enemy spinner, where if you can just rely on any ink splatting anybody, that's gonna be very, very difficult and very nice. So we'll see what they can do with that pick. But yeah, on the side of Jackpot, we are going to be seeing the Kraken come out and the Neo Machine once again, and 2 players are going to go down on Alliance Rogue. 3 players going to be going down on Alliance Rogue right now. But of course, Clan Blitz, you can't just simply take the objective early. You got to be a little bit more patient and work with your team. But this is looking pretty nice for Jackpot.
I'm sorry, did .Q just treat that like a bamboo, get right into the face of a splatter shot and win that 1v1? Okay, I guess that's just the thing .Q can do now, fair enough. And that is a Kraken, yes, that we're so used to seeing. The Kraken isn't effective when everybody else explodes when your team does. That is a delayed wipeout, and Alliance Rogue stops the push and allows them to get control mid, but they have 0 clams to work with. So they're a little bit of ways from getting the push going themselves.
Yeah, just a little bit. And yeah, that was unfortunately for Jackpot kind of a missed opportunity. But that's what makes it hard about Clan Blitz. Like when you get an opening push, you can't just simply take the objective early on and just start pushing. There's a lot more coordination that needs to happen. And right now, that's the basket's going to be broken by Alliance Rogue. First one to score, but I don't know if there's going to be any follow-up. And you're looking,
come on.
Yeah, you're looking at the .Q Volti 1v1 there. What happened there?
Volti in a 1v4, they didn't know where Volti was, and then Volti kills 2 people and throws 2 more clans in the bench. That move might not mean much in the grand scheme of things, but that just shows you, as long as this one player's on life, and look, instantly, the next time we go to them, their point censored. Like, nah, we're not gonna let this shenanigans continue to happen. We're just gonna locate you and fight you the entire game. It's gonna come down to madness, spamming those point sensors.
Well, and yeah, that's something they probably, I mean, they obviously knew this entire time, and if you're facing a Carbon Roller, you know that they're going to be sharking pretty much the entire game, and I think, too, yeah, just realizing, okay, we have point sensors, first target is Volti, need to target them to figure out where they are and making sure they're not flanking. And here's the Kraken cheese that we might see. Are we going to see 2 jumps come in? We are going to see 2. Will both go in? Yes, they will. So the basket's going to be broken. And look at this madness alone with 7 clams able to throw in 2. Now in a 1v1 versus Voltine, able to get more clams in. So a very good follow-up there for Jackpot. Now Madness is finally going to be going down, but that was a textbook play there for Jackpot.
You know, I was just going to say Alliance Rogue is in a decent situation, but I forgot they're playing against a Kraken and a team that knows how to use it very effectively on Clan Blitz here. So they got this huge lead. And again, Alliance Rogue's got to be thinking, all right, we can't let this go to overtime because they just got to Kraken jump 1 clam in and it's over. We got to be aggressive while the clock is still running and get the lead. And honestly, they need to find a way to get a KO off of like 1 or 2 pushes just to feel comfortable against the strat that they're going up against here. So that's a stressful way to play a elimination game for them. But I mean, 1:30 left to go. You don't have to do much to get lead. It's just a matter of how you're going to get lead and hold on to it is the question they got to figure out soon.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, you know, on paper, getting down to 42 is not the most difficult thing in the world. But again, you're in that situation where you're running out of time. Obviously, you can still do it in 2, maybe 3 pushes at this time if you were to score right now. But the further down you get on the clock, the more important and more aggressive and rewarding your push has to be if you want to try and take the lead. And so Alliance Rogue trying to find those opportunities, but right now it's going to be very difficult. Haven't been in a 4v4 situation in a while right now, or had a player advantage. We're going to see the Kraken run out, and 2 more specials are going to be online. That is going to be the cooler. Oh, and that's going to be a nice pick there onto Leafy, taking down the shot player as well. But yeah, Alliance Rogue needing to find any opportunity they can, but unfortunately for them, they are going down 1 by 1, and yeah, it's just going to be the Jet Scouts, and that's the wipeout. So right now, this is Jackpot's game to lose. They're going to be scoring right here, and we'll see what they can follow up with.
And they might find an opportunity to get a KO right here as well, and use the Kraken while the basket's already open to cause players to not get in position to defend things, while the rest of the players, specifically .Q, getting the clams that they need. Just 3 more clams away. Now just 2. They got one that they need, but most importantly, Alliance Rogue has to somehow stop the basket and win. There's no way they can do that. Jackpot, not Kraken cheese specifically, but just using all their specials and working together in general gets them the 3-1 win over their EU rivals.
Yeah, and again, we saw the Kraken push where you get 2 power claims in, and of course that's still difficult to pull off because you need to make sure you have both power claims in your possession. But yeah, once the Kraken comes out, just keep the players who are holding the power claims alive and you're fine, and that's what they did. But I think importantly, Jackpot was able to follow up with that, and really, Madness did such a fantastic job in that game too, or in this game rather. So, knowing when to move, knowing when to fight in your 1v1s, knowing when to throw in clams, and just kind of prolonging that basket because, when they scored that last time, I wasn't sold that was going to be a KO, but you were a little more optimistic than I was, especially with having a few players down. But they forced Alliance Rogue to stagger just a little bit too much.
Well, it was the mindset of, well, .Q's holding on to this power claim for so long, and we're running out of time. Let's just build up a Kraken and make sure we end the game that way. But when they got the wipeout there, I think they realized, oh, we can just put this one away right here and just leave no doubt, and use the Kraken to discombobulate them as they're spawning back in while everybody else goes back and gets clams to get the KO. So they saw the window there and struck while they could. But even then, knowing that if it doesn't work out, they can just do the Kraken thing, and it's just going to work out one way or another. Jackpot just getting a nice win there, and their reward is to move on to losers semifinals. They still got a long way to go in this tournament.
They're going to be facing the winner of Fiesta and Duck Motif, and right now they are tied 1-1 in their set. Also, FTWin 3-0 over CometX in our winners finals. So FTWin going to have a little bit of time. So yes, the ranking goes: winner faces Jackpot, winners faces CometX, winner faces FTWin. So it's going to be, we've got a lot of matches in store for you guys for 20XX, but unfortunately for us, Popgun, that was the final set here on the IPL broadcast.
What? That is not the end of the tournament stream in general. We are going to be rating Dapple Productions, so you don't have to go anywhere. You can stay right here. We will move you like a sleepy little baby. We're just going to move you right on over to your next destination. You're going to wake up on Dapple's channel, where I believe they're going to be giving you Jackpot versus the I don't know if they're streaming that other set or not, but you'll be seeing Jackpot pretty soon, regardless. With that being said, Falco, anything to plug real quick?
Hey, Popgun, it's been a pleasure. Always happy to be here with you. And thank you, Dapple's Productions, for allowing us to have this second broadcast. It was wonderful, wonderful. You guys can find me, Falco Flyer, on Twitch, FalcoFlyer11 on Twitter, and we will be having 2 Ludi Tonight sets on Splatoon Tourney, rounding out the final weeks of our lovely, lovely rescheduled week of Ludi. Playoffs are going to be starting next week. It's going to be a lot of fun.
And I am going to be recapping everything you see today in 20XX on my competitive Splatoon podcast, the Popcast, tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Time on my Twitch channel, Popgun25. With that being said, big shout out to Dapple Productions for reaching out to IPL to co-stream some of the events going on here. We're now going to raid Dapple Productions to give you guys the epic conclusion to this fantastic tournament. So stick around. We'll be right back.
هنا هنا ونوني شو ماني فيها ما فيها نيو هني